This man wanted to survive peacefully in the Middle Ages, so he hid his true strength. He had thought that this way, no one would notice him. But unexpectedly, someone of the same level still sensed that something was off. The other party took just one look and concluded that he was definitely no ordinary person. That day, the moment Eren opened his eyes, he had arrived in this medieval world, and had even become a mercenary, having killed countless enemies on the battlefield. To stay alive, he had no choice but to keep swinging his blade. Once, he had been driven into a desperate situation on the battlefield, and the one who saved him was a female general. From that moment on, she became the most important person to Eren in this world. But in the end, she still did not live to see the war end. Before she died, she gently touched Eren's face. "You really are handsome after all. Eren, do you know, I really love rain. When this war is over, let's go to the east together. It's always raining there. But in the end, I was the only one who came here, and she remained there forever. Still, the rain today is a bit too heavy." Just then, a man blew a whistle. "Stop standing around. We have to catch him before he escapes the city." At the same time, Eren's two companions also arrived. Eren had already been waiting here for them for a long time, and they had finally shown up. And the person they were trying to catch this time was a mage. In this world, mages were the most detested kind of people, because mages could make contracts with demons. Once demons got involved, things became truly troublesome. If they catch Hans, Hans is definitely going to have a terrible fate. Even the lightest punishment would probably be death. Eren let out a quiet sigh in his heart. This damn Middle Ages. One word from the Lord could decide whether a person lived or died. A moment later, Eren knocked on the door of the guard headquarters. The curly-haired fat man in front of him was the captain of the guard. "Eren, are you late?" Eren said that he had accidentally overslept and was truly sorry. The captain had called Eren over this time because he wanted to ask about Hans. "I heard you and Hans are close. Is that true?" In a certain sense, that was indeed true. Because Hans was the smartest person Eren had seen in this era, and even after Hans got into the Magic Academy, the two had remained on good terms. But of course Eren would never admit that, so he only said that he was not familiar with Hans. The captain burst out laughing after hearing that, saying that could not be better. Hans had committed a serious crime, and the matter even involved the Lord's daughter. Hans had stolen something belonging to her. So the captain hoped Eren would personally capture Hans, and gave a strict order that it did not matter whether the man was dead or alive. Eren said that he would do his best to bring him back. After leaving, Eren only felt that the matter was becoming more and more troublesome. The Lord was the sky over this town. If this went badly, even he might be made to bear the Lord's anger. And a few people appearing before him now were the members of Eren's squad. They swore they would definitely bring that damn Hans back. They had always hated majors like him, but even after searching for a long time, there was still no trace of Hans. Eren heard them talking about giving up the search and going to the tavern for a drink, and instantly got angry. "All of you shut up and spread out to look for him right now." People in the Middle Ages were this stupid. When they could barely keep their lives, they still had drinking on their minds. As he walked, Eren suddenly spotted someone ahead of him. He thought the person looked suspicious, so he told him to take off his cloak. When the other person said nothing, Eren placed his hand on the hilt of his sword. The man let out a cold laugh. "It's really been a long time, Eren." The moment he removed his bamboo hat, Eren's expression froze. The man in front of him was actually bald. Eren did not waste a single word. He immediately raised his hand and smashed it down on the man's head, and with just one punch, he knocked him straight to the ground. Eren recognized this person. He was the guy Eren had arrested before for causing trouble. The man was completely speechless. "I'm not that person. I'm just a herb merchant from this street. Someone stole my things just now, so I was on my way to report it." That made Eren a little embarrassed too. No wonder he had thought the man looked familiar. It turned out he was a merchant from this street. The bald man immediately exploded. "What kind of guard attacks people the moment they show up? I'm reporting you." But Eren did not care at all, because he was not afraid of being reported. He only told the man to hurry up and explain things clearly so he could investigate. The man said that a thief had stolen his forbidden thought ghost grass, but that kind of herb was clearly all over the back mountain. Eren instantly realized something was wrong. This herb could stop bleeding. Which direction did the person who stole the herbs run? Then he chased off in the direction the man had pointed out. There, he found another man wearing a cloak. Eren slowly spoke. "Hans, how did you end up like this?" Those words made Hans freeze for a moment, clearly frightened. Normally, Hans was always neatly dressed, but now, he was actually missing an arm. "But this ends here. Come over here now, before I make a move." Hans said that he could not do that now, and began chanting in the language of demons. That made Eren pause slightly. "Kid, you really dare to do it." At the same time, the water on the ground also began to change. In the blink of an eye, the rainwater on the ground turned into Hans's weapon. But his magic should not have been this strong to begin with. It seemed it was because of the rain. "I'm sorry, brother Eren, but right now I can't let you take me away." He exerted a bit more force with his palm, and the magic power in his hand became even stronger. "Of all times, I had to run into water magic on a rainy day. This is really troublesome." Aaron took a deep breath and shifted all the power in his body into his legs. The next second, he shot forward from where he stood in a single burst. If he refuses to listen, then I'll just have to subdue him myself. When Hans saw Aaron's astonishing speed, he was immediately startled. He had just wanted to continue chanting, planning to restrict Aaron's movements first. But he had still underestimated Aaron too much. Hans, you should shut up now too. A mage's words themselves carried unknown power, so when fighting them, it was necessary to make them lose the ability to cast spells immediately. But in the end, Aaron still could not bring himself to be ruthless. He only made a shallow cut on Hans's neck. Hans cried as he said to him, "Brother Aaron, can't you spare my life?" Aaron did not respond to that. Instead, he asked whether Hans had made a pact with a demon. If that were true, then there should be a scar near his heart. After Aaron tore open Hans's clothes, however, he discovered that there was no demon mark on his chest at all. Hans clearly was not a servant of a demon, so why had he still gone this far? Hans knew that in his current state, he could not explain, but there was one thing he had to do no matter what. One day, you'll understand. Aaron only felt that this whole thing was so absurd it left him speechless. He was about to be driven mad. The next second, he grabbed Hans by the collar and opened a bottle of potion. He applied the healing potion to Hans's wand. This is a recovery potion. Come with me right now. This guy only stole one thing, and he already lost an arm. That price should be enough already. Unfortunately, this is not something I can decide. Because in this damned Middle Ages, you are either innocent or sentenced to death. After Aaron lifted the wooden board, a hole was revealed underneath. He told Hans to get the hell out of there. Hans called out to him excitedly, "Brother Aaron." Aaron responded by throwing a punch, smashing it straight into Hans's face, and also warned him not to call him that again in the future. Even after taking Aaron's punch, Hans did not show the slightest resentment and instead kept thanking him. Just then, Aaron's companions also rushed over. This was the only area left that had not been searched. From that time on, no one ever saw Hans again. That man who had once been called Handsome Hans, Kind Hans, Friendly Hans. The crime he carried on his back was so ridiculous it sent a chill through people. He had stolen Miss Casadic's undergarments. What a miserable Middle Ages. Aaron could not help sighing inwardly, and yet he just had to be the captain of the guard in this garbage world. Since no one had found Hans, everyone was naturally holding in a bellyful of anger. I really didn't expect that kid to be so good at running. We searched the whole city and still couldn't find him. A few of the men guessed that Hans must have used magic to escape. But if magic were really all-powerful, then why had he not reattached his own arm first? Sleepyhead from the team told everyone to quiet down first, because he was already so sleepy he could barely stand it. After that, Aaron was called away for a private talk. The man looked calm and smoked a cigar. "Your name is Aaron, right? Leader of Group 4. He claimed to be Sheriff William. With just one word from him, Aaron could be finished at any moment. Because he was the very top of this town, a figure like a king. He suspected that Aaron had let Hans escape, because in District 7, Aaron had been the only one assigned to search. "Did you really find nothing at all?" His gaze practically made his meaning plain. "You're the one who let him go, aren't you?" And there was only one sentence in Aaron's eyes as well. "Do you have any proof?" There was nothing there except shit. The sheriff directly issued a death order. Anyone who dared help a criminal escape would be treated as equally guilty. He told Aaron to weigh things carefully himself, and not let him catch any evidence, or else the death would be ugly. If you can't remember that, then use your life to remember it. Aaron lightly flicked the ash from the cigar, said aloud that he understood, while thinking in his heart, "Yeah, right." After the interrogation, Aaron still made it back safely. This damned Middle Ages doesn't even have the slightest bit of human rights. But that little brat Hans sure is lucky. Looks like he already escaped safely. But just then, he heard a disturbance coming from a tavern, and someone inside was actually causing trouble. "Such a cute tavern lady, we can't bear to leave." The tavern lady, frightened, told him to let go. "Please don't do this." A red-haired man turned around. He looked like their leader. "We just arrived here not long ago, and we hope to make friends with you." The moment those words came out, laughter instantly rang out all around. The tavern lady also looked helpless. "You gentlemen must be mercenaries from somewhere else. If this keeps up, things will get troublesome." While there was still room to salvage the situation, it would be best for everyone to rein themselves in now. The red-haired man raised his hand and slammed it heavily onto the table. "And what if we refuse to quiet down? What can you do about it?" That imposing manner truly did scare the tavern lady. And at that very moment, Aaron pushed open the door and walked in. The moment the tavern lady saw Aaron, she immediately showed a look of delight, and even the tavern's customers grew excited. Now there was going to be a good show. They had been sitting there just waiting for Aaron to appear. Seeing that Aaron had arrived, the tavern lady quickly ran over to his side. Those few troublemakers also sensed that the newcomer meant trouble, and all stood up. They lined up and walked together until they were standing in front of Aaron. Aaron turned to the tavern lady and said, 10 days. Let me stay for free for 10 days. The tavern lady said 5 days at most, because there were not that many troublemakers this time. In the end, after bargaining back and forth, the two sides settled on 6 days, and the mercenaries opposite them were dumbfounded by the scene. The red-haired man immediately got angry. These damn commoners actually dared to ignore them. And that bald man was the first to rush up, throwing a punch straight at Aaron. But in the face of his attack, Aaron's expression did not change in the slightest. He simply raised one large hand and clamped it tightly over the man's face. "You lot really do have filthy mouths, don't you?" After Aaron grabbed his head, the man could not move at all. Aaron only used a little force, and the pain nearly made him scream. Then with a casual fling, Aaron hurled his body away hard, and the sight even startled the red-haired man. "You damn medieval fools, let me teach you some manners properly." The few old men behind him had obviously long grown used to scenes like this, but every time they watched, their blood still boiled. They only felt that this was too satisfying. After a few beers, they got to watch a show like this. In this world, there were no evil medieval people, only medieval people who deserved a beating. As long as Aaron gave each of them one punch, they immediately behaved themselves. In just a few moves, Aaron knocked all of them down. Those old men kept cheering for Aaron the whole time. They had long been hoping for hoodlums like these to come looking for a beating. This bunch did not last long before Aaron dealt with all of them. Even if they went all out, they still could not make Aaron budge a single step. And Aaron was also called by these people the garbage cleaner, Captain Aaron of the Violent Guard. These old men are still just sitting there watching. Looks like they need a beating too. One of the mercenaries pulled out a dagger, but Aaron only called out to him coldly. "You'd better think this through. You only get one chance. Are you sure you want to pull out what's behind your back?" The red-haired man instantly behaved himself. "What thing? There's nothing behind my back. Big brother, you saw wrong." Aaron could not be bothered to waste more words on him. He raised his hand and slammed the man hard onto the ground. Just like that, Aaron was officially off work for the day. After returning to his room, a powerful wave of exhaustion instantly weighed down Aaron's entire body. There was a sword under his pillow. It was a habit he had kept for many years. In his sleep, Aaron once again thought of that woman. "Don't look back. Leave here quickly. You must survive." The next second, Aaron suddenly pulled the longsword from beneath his pillow. But in the end, it was only another dream. He had left the mercenary battlefield many years ago, yet his body's memory had never forgotten. He felt that this could not go on. He had to learn to get used to the life of a guard. So early the next morning, Aaron got out of bed. He came to the city gate and began his daily sword practice. It had already been a full 6 years since Aaron came to this world, and even he did not know how much longer these peaceful days could last. And practicing with the sword every day was also a habit he had never once broken. While practicing that day, someone suddenly appeared behind him. "Your swordsmanship is truly clean and efficient." The man could not help but applaud in praise. "I really didn't expect that in a small border town like this, there would actually be an expert like you. It's truly surprising." Aaron did not know this person and had never seen him before, but the armor on the man's shoulder engraved with the Fenner family crest, and the spiral spike hanging at his waist, made it beyond doubt that this guy was absolutely a powerful man. It looked like he was one of those knights worshipped by everyone in this medieval world. So-called knights were people who could control holy aura and fight against demons. But Aaron did not understand why someone like that would appear in such a remote little town. Aaron's heart tightened slightly, and his wrist unconsciously gripped harder as well. Could he have been sent by the Empire to kill him? The knight spoke. "Don't be nervous, and you don't need to be so guarded around me. I just couldn't help praising you a little because your swordsmanship is so outstanding." This knight asked Aaron which family's knight he was, but before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by a woman's voice. "Ben, so you were here. You're my knight, so how can you leave me behind by myself?" And she was Vivian, the only daughter of the Cossack lord's family. Only then did Vivian notice Aaron. "Were you two chatting?" Aaron immediately bowed. "Greetings, my lady. I am Aaron, leader of the 4th Squad of the Cossack Outer City Guard." Vivian also looked somewhat pleased. "I'm very happy to meet you, Aaron. Thank you for your hard work in that matter last time." "Please don't say that, my lady. Protecting you is my duty." But what Aaron was really thinking was, why had they sent a new knight to escort Vivian? Vivian pulled the knight away from there. "Then we won't disturb your training. But afterward, we'll still have to trouble you to continue patrolling and maintaining public order." At this moment, however, Knight Ben's heart was in turmoil. That person is actually just a guard. But that's far too strange. It makes no sense at all. Why would a guard have the strength of a knight? And from the look in Knight Ben's eyes just now, Aaron could also tell that the other man had already noticed him. But as long as the other man did not come looking for trouble, Aaron would not make a move either. "I'd better just go to work honestly." The moment he arrived at work, Aaron was met with a furious scolding from his superior. "You bastard, why don't you just go die?" Aaron had absolutely no idea what had happened. It turned out that the group Aaron had taught a lesson to yesterday really were mercenaries. They had originally come to carry out a mission, but yesterday Aaron had beaten all of them up. This left Aaron speechless. A bunch of mercenaries living like street thugs did not deserve any sympathy for getting beaten. But then again, they had originally come to carry out a mission, and now they were all injured. So Aaron had no choice but to go find Nova. The moment he entered, Nova's tapping finger on the pan immediately stopped. "Aaron, it's you again. What exactly do you want this time? Why are you causing trouble every single day?" Causing trouble would be one thing, but now you've started causing trouble for me too. She was an administrative official of the town, and was also known as the person with the worst temper in town. But this time, Aaron had come prepared. That handsome guy from their squad had taught Aaron several tricks in advance. Kel had said that he absolutely had to keep a slight smile at the corner of his mouth. So Aaron immediately did as he was told. "I have to smile." Nova was clearly startled. "What's wrong with you today? Are you not acting normal somewhere?" Next was the second point. Be sure to praise the other person's strengths. Forcing out a smile, Aaron praised Nova. "That hairstyle of yours today, seen from behind, it looks just like a ripe orange. It makes me want to take a bite." To be honest, this scene had already completely exceeded Kel's expectations. Not only was Nova not happy, but her expression actually turned even uglier. Had this guy gone insane? But she also knew that this was just Aaron's personality. "The group you beat up yesterday were mercenaries preparing to head to Burt Town." Aaron, however, said it did not matter. With that group's strength, they were not even as capable as guards, so even if they were really sent there, they would not be much help. That sentence completely enraged Nova. "Shut up and listen to me first. In any case, things have already turned out like this, so you have to take the place of those mercenaries and carry out the mission. No refusal. I'll pay you, and besides, this whole mess was caused by you in the first place." Aaron had no intention of refusing either. After all, this really was the mess he himself had created. But what mission were they supposed to carry out this time? From Nova, he learned that it was escorting a carriage to the next town. And just like that, it was decided Aaron was assigned to escort the carriage. But he still found it strange. Was it really necessary to send so many people to escort it? And almost all of the escorts were mercenaries. That gave him an instinctively bad feeling. Aaron turned his head to look at the red-haired man beside him. "Do you know who's in the carriage?" But after taking a closer look, he realized this guy was actually the mercenary Aaron had beaten up a few days ago. And he looked exactly like a weasel. That weasel became furious on the spot. "My name is Dylan." Aaron told him to hurry up and talk, or he would give him 2 more punches. At this moment, someone in front said that it was already dark, and they had heard there was a small village up ahead, so they would spend the night there. The moment he heard the word small village nearby, Aaron's eyes changed instantly. An hour later, they arrived at the village. But when they got there, they discovered that there was not a single person around. Had all the villagers fled? Someone quietly guessed that this could not possibly have been the work of demons, could it? The moment those words were spoken, they were immediately cut off. At a time like this, don't say something so unlucky. At the same time, Dylan noticed that Aaron had already left where he was standing. He immediately chased after him. "Big brother, where are you going?" "Brother Aaron, wait for me." As he passed by a carriage, the woman inside lightly curled her lips into a smile. Dylan followed behind Aaron the whole way, and this place also brought back some memories from the past for Aaron. Aaron had once given a child a book. That child's smile had been very healing. "Thank you, Sir Knight. Next time you come, you have to come play with me." Suddenly, Aaron stopped walking, and Dylan crashed right into his back. Because right under his feet was a pool of blood. Dylan saw it too, but at that moment, Aaron was staring fixedly ahead. "Hey, Dylan, whatever you do, don't look up." Unfortunately, Dylan still instinctively raised his head, and what entered his eyes was row after row of hanging corpses. That sight made his entire body freeze on the spot, and then he immediately dropped to his knees and began dry heaving. But Aaron was long accustomed to scenes of corpses piled like mountains and seas of blood. What he had not expected, however, was that a voice would suddenly slip into his ears, and it was a voice he knew well. "Captain Guard Aaron." Aaron suddenly turned around, trying to see where the voice had come from. He saw a woman in a long dress standing behind them, but Aaron did not understand why she would appear here. And this person was none other than Lady Vivian, whom he had seen during the day, though there was clearly something wrong with her expression at this moment. After seeing Lady Vivian, Aaron returned to the group. Dylan was obviously still not over what he had just seen, so he had no appetite at all even for the pot of hot soup in front of him. He could not even understand how these people could still eat after seeing something like that. But why were there so many corpses arranged in the village? Just then, someone walked over and said that they were offerings. What you saw just now was a ritual of offering humans to demons. Now only you two haven't had dinner yet. Would you like some wine? Aaron directly refused, because alcohol would dull the senses. Dylan, on the other hand, did not refuse. But if you dare throw up again, you're dead. This old man was named John, and he was the person in charge of this escort mission. He had never seen Aaron before. Aaron said that he was not a mercenary. He just worked in a town and had only been temporarily assigned here this time. In any case, John told them to eat more, because this journey would probably be harder than they had imagined. Vivian and Nightben just happened to pass by nearby. The others could not help talking about Vivian as well. "I heard she is the flower of the East. Although I only got one look just now, that young lady really was so beautiful she hardly seemed real." Although John knew that this carriage escort mission would not be simple, He had not expected that the people inside the carriage would actually be the young lady of Casatic City and a knight. Just now, Lady Vivian had suddenly appeared behind them, and said that she had only come out for some fresh air and happened to pass by here. Staying in the city all the time was too stifling, so at her father's suggestion, she had decided to head to Burt City. When you say father, do you mean the Lord? At that moment, a hand interrupted Vivian's words. The one who came was Knight Ben. The more you know, the greater your responsibility. So, Captain of the Guard, you only need to do what you are supposed to do. Aaron still cared a great deal about why the Lord wanted to send the young lady to Burt City. John looked at Aaron and asked whether he was a little too calm. There might be demons nearby, so was he really not afraid at all? Aaron only sneered inwardly. Back on the mercenary battlefield, he had seen plenty of demons. Those things were really not enough to make him take them seriously. We have a knight here, so why should we be afraid of demons? They are the elite specially trained by the Empire to deal with demons. And as long as this sword is still in my hand, even if there is only the slightest chance of winning, I can survive. So no matter what happens, I will not be afraid. Only then did John seem to understand. So he was just an arrogant, conceited fellow. Still, I sincerely hope you keep winning. Time passed quickly, and the porridge in the pot had already been scraped clean. And Aaron came to a room, and gently picked up a notebook from the table. This notebook was something Aaron had once personally given to a child. It's probably been a long time since I last saw him. I wonder if that little brat has grown any taller by now. Just then, a figure suddenly appeared behind him. Aaron instantly sensed the movement at his back, and struck backward with an elbow, smashing it hard into the other party's head. But when he clearly saw what was in front of him, he could not help being shocked. Because the figure standing there was actually a zombie. Its eyes shone with a fierce light. When it still tried to turn and pounce on him, Aaron swung his sword again. That strike ended it on the spot. But no matter how he thought about it, Aaron could not understand why there would be zombies here. Suddenly, Dylan's scream came from outside the door. As he backed away, he shouted, "You stinking monster, stay away from me." The next second, a flash of sword light directly cut through the zombie's neck. That scene scared Dylan so badly he nearly jumped. He looked up and saw that the one who had come was Aaron. Dylan immediately hugged Aaron's leg and cried out, "What the hell are you doing? You actually left me all alone in the middle of the night." Aaron asked him where the others had gone. Dylan cried and wailed, "Those guys are just too useless. Whether mercenaries or soldiers, they all slept like the dead. No matter how I called them, I couldn't wake them up. It was just like they had been hit by sleep magic." A thought instantly flashed through Aaron's mind. If it really had been magic, then neither he nor Dylan should have been unaffected. So the problem had to be in that pot of porridge. Someone had drugged it. It seemed the other side's goal was to capture someone alive, and that person was most likely Vivian. But what Dylan cared about more right now was his own life. Because at this moment, they were already surrounded by zombies. Aaron shoved Dylan aside. These slow-moving zombies would be perfect for warming him up. He could deal with the real enemy afterward. The next second, the aura around Aaron changed instantly. He swung his sword, and the force of the blade swept outward. The zombies in front of him could not block even a single strike from him. In front of Aaron, they were like a pile of weeds, easily cleared away. After all, I am the king of mercenaries. Dealing with zombies like these is beneath mention. That long-lost feeling also made Aaron remember the person he had once been on the mercenary battlefield. Immediately after that, several dozen more zombies lunged at Aaron. No one knew how much time had passed, but all of those zombies also died by Aaron's hand. In truth, these zombies had originally all been ordinary villagers. They had only been turned into this by demons. Soon, Aaron sensed movement behind him again. He had not expected that there would still be one more that slipped through. But when he clearly saw who it was, his whole body froze. That zombie moved very slowly and could only crawl laboriously across the ground with both hands. It had a head of yellow hair. And with such highly distinctive hair color, Aaron recognized who it was at a single glance. It looks like Horn really did grow quite a bit taller. Damn it, those demons actually turned a child into a zombie. Looks like today, I can only end all of this with my own hands. 2 years ago, in order to avoid the Empire's pursuers, Aaron had once hidden in a small village. That memory of spending time with Horn once again surfaced in Aaron's mind. He had always called Aaron a knight, and Aaron would always tell him to stop calling him that. I read in a book that knights are people who are strong and handsome, and you are exactly that. Out of everyone I've ever seen, mister, you are the strongest and the most handsome, so you are a knight. Who would have thought that even at such a young age, Horn would be so good with words? Every time Aaron patted his head, he would be overjoyed. Those days had truly been good. Aaron remembered that it had been not long after he first arrived in the town. He had truly liked that little brat, but he had never imagined that Horn would end up becoming a zombie. Even after Aaron later settled in Casatic, Horn would still often come to see him. Aaron had told him that there was a place in the city called the library, and that it held many, many books. He had heard that the librarian spent all day buried in piles of books. So Horn had made up his mind on the spot that he would become a librarian in the future. That job really did suit a little bookworm like him, so Aaron had also told him to work hard. And at this moment, Aaron had already swung down the sword in his hand. Someone once said that demons feed on human fear, but after that sword fell, Horn in front of him remained completely unharmed. In the end, Aaron still could not bring himself to do it. Back then, Horn had once run to Aaron bruised and battered. He said his father had hit him because he had said that when he grew up he wanted to become a librarian, but his father only wanted him to work in the fields. Some say demons feed on human fear, but I don't think that's right. What demons truly devour is human despair. Aaron directly threw away the sword in his hand, then pulled Horn into his arms. I'm not a knight at all, because a real knight would never let the people around him get hurt. At that moment, Aaron's palm pressed slightly harder. Horn's arm then dropped limply. I'm only a guard in a small border town. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you. Just after Aaron personally ended Horn's life, a burst of noisy footsteps came from behind him. Dylan shouted at the top of his lungs, "Big brother, we're here." It turned out that he had been so furious just now that he had simply beaten up all those sleeping people, and that had actually woken them. He told those mercenaries to immediately go deal with all the remaining zombies. At this moment, Horn's eyes still had not closed, so Aaron reached out and gently closed them for him. "Child, sleep in peace. I hope that after death, you will never encounter such things again." Suddenly, a roaring explosion burst out from behind them. Aaron slowly picked up the sword from the ground, and step by step walked toward the direction the explosion had come from. "I will definitely avenge you for this." At this moment, battle had already broken out in the direction of the explosion. Knight Ben had already dealt with several assassins. I heard that someone in Kasadik City wanted to harm the young lady, which is why she was secretly being sent to Burt City. But I didn't expect that even after leaving the city so quietly, we were still found. Still, my duty is to protect the young lady. As a knight, I will never let go of the sword in my hand, even if the one standing before me next is the most vicious demon of all. Ben was actually trying to force that demon to back down, but the demon only let out a cold smile. "You knights sure do talk a lot, but even if you keep stalling for time, your wound won't heal on its own. That short blade was coated with deadly poison, and you must have eaten quite a bit of the stew too. That drug will only make you sleepier and sleepier. Do you really think you still have any chance of winning?" Knight Ben panted heavily. "No wonder you're so ugly. One look at you is enough to tell me that underhanded tricks are all you know." Those words instantly enraged the demon, and several eyes opened directly on its arm. The next second, it charged violently and instantly closed the distance to Knight Ben. "You knight really don't know what's good for you. I gave you some face, and you actually started taking yourself seriously." Knight Ben's heart sank. The holy aura inside his body was probably only half of what it usually was, and he could not gather it properly at all. And all of this was because of the poison. But the demon would never let such an opportunity slip away. Knight Ben instinctively dodged, trying to find the demon's weakness. Very soon, he really did catch a trace of an opening. Enduring the numbness spreading through all his muscles, Knight Ben forcibly thrust out, and that strike directly sliced open the demon's head. But the next second, Knight Ben's head was grabbed tightly by the demon. It turned out that the opening just now had only been something the demon had exposed on purpose. "Looks like you knights are nothing more than this." It tightened its grip slightly, and Knight Ben immediately coughed harshly as blood gushed out along with it. But at that very instant, the demon's pupils suddenly contracted, because Aaron had appeared behind it at some unknown moment. He had come here to avenge Horn. Aaron raised his hand and struck with his sword, directly cutting off the demon's head. At this moment, Aaron's eyes were cold to a terrifying degree. A thing like you should obediently accept punishment. The demon looked utterly stunned. Where had this one come from? It immediately turned around and lunged at Aaron. Aaron raised his hand and blocked the blow, but his whole body was still sent flying by the force of it. Immediately after, the demon let out a low growl. The head Aaron had just cut off actually grew back again. To think that I suffered such a heavy injury because of someone who isn't even a knight, and even wasted such precious blood. It really pisses me off. Before all the blood that was meant to be offered as sacrifices used up, hand that girl over to me. At this moment, Aaron slowly got back to his feet. Horn has already turned into a zombie. You probably don't know him, but that doesn't matter. I said I would avenge Horn, so today you have to die. With that, he charged forward again and collided head-on with the demon. The battle between the two instantly became incomparably fierce. Aaron's body was blasted away once more. But at the same time, Aaron's sword hacked a grievous wound into the demon's chest. Aaron did not hurry to stand up. Instead, he coldly watched it recover. Because only after it finished recovering could Aaron cut it again. The demon was completely enraged. "You filthy fly, where the hell did you come from?" Very soon, it noticed that something was wrong. It discovered that the eyes on its arm had actually started feeding on its own blood in reverse. If this continued, it itself would be consumed as well. At that moment, Aaron spat, letting the blood in his mouth hit the ground. "What exactly are you pretending to be? At first I thought you could really fight, but it turns out you're just trash." The moment it heard the word trash, the demon could no longer suppress its rage. But Aaron was even angrier than it was. He stepped forward, instantly appearing before the demon. "I have to avenge Horn with my own hands." The demon finally began to feel fear. "You lunatic, who the hell is Horn? What are you even trying to do? Why are you fighting this hard? And this guy is way too strange. He's obviously not a knight, so how can he be this strong? Suddenly, Aaron's eyes widened sharply. He had not expected that there would still be another expert hiding nearby. He instantly turned around and raised his sword, forcibly blocking the other party's attack. And the one who had struck was actually John. I really didn't expect that. You're not just big, you're strong too. Earlier, Aaron had still been wondering when exactly this man would reveal himself, but it had happened at the exact moment Aaron was fighting the demon. John let out a chuckle. You don't look stupid after all. You're actually pretty good at reading the situation. But the way you look, you seem a bit too slow, and your brain doesn't look all that sharp either. He shouted loudly at Aaron, I never thought you had been hiding yourself this deeply. But it was not that Aaron had hidden himself deeply. It was that he was careful enough. The villagers had only just been turned into sacrifices, and then their group had arrived at the village at exactly that time. The person who most deserved suspicion was, of course, John, the one in charge. Very soon, the two men's swords crashed directly against each other. And on the other side, the demon also wanted to use this chance to continue restoring its strength. In only the time of 3 breaths, its arm had completely grown back. But at that moment, the eyes on the demon's arm suddenly spoke. Too late. I no longer need your body. The demon immediately began to beg for mercy. Please wait, I can still do many things for you. But no matter what it said, that higher-ranking demon had already lost interest in it, because it had found a more delicious body. The sword in Aaron's hand was directly broken by John. That made Aaron curse on the spot that it really was a lousy sword. And John also felt that it was about time to end this. You big brute, go die right now. But what he had not expected was that Aaron would directly counterattack with the broken hilt. The power of that strike was no weaker than a punch, because all the force had been completely concentrated. With a bang, John dropped straight to his knees. No matter how he thought about it, he had never imagined that he would run into a monster like Aaron here. At the same time, Aaron raised his eyes to look at the true monster before him. So in the end, you were completely devoured by the demon after all? The one standing in front of Aaron now was no longer the person from before, but only a body and the open eye on its chest. The demon immediately burst into laughter. Its true form had actually been hiding inside this body all along. Pathetic trash, answer my question. Next, I will take your body at any cost. What can you possibly do to stop me? Aaron sneered inwardly. Back on the mercenary battlefield, he had already gone through life and death situations countless times. A mere low-level demon thought it was worthy of targeting him? Aaron threw away the broken blade in his hand, and charged straight at it head-on. You may not know this, but although I'm not a knight, I may be more dangerous than one. The next second, he had already rushed in front of it, and both hands clamped tightly onto the eyeball in its chest. Immediately after that, Aaron opened his mouth, and bit down hard, tearing off a chunk of its flesh. I'm going to bite that disgusting eye of yours to pieces, little by little. The demon instantly screamed, you bastard, stop that. But what it was really thinking was, wonderful, this is exactly what I wanted. At that moment, the demon seemed to see Aaron's memories, and the companions Aaron had once had on the mercenary battlefield began to surface in its mind. Those people were all Aaron's most important comrades. One woman looked at her bickering companions and smiled gently. She was a mage, Averly. Then another woman appeared in the scene. She was the most important person in Aaron's world. Stop fooling around and give him his money back. Her name was Udra. At that time, Aaron had still been a spirited young man. Although this team argued with each other almost every day, their relationship had actually always been very good. At that moment, one of his companions patted Aaron on the shoulder. He smiled and said to Aaron, Captain, you didn't forget, did you? His back was already covered with swords, blades, and arrows. You said you would survive no matter what. You haven't forgotten that oath, have you? The demon almost wanted to laugh out loud. These memories were simply too delicious. And at that very moment, Aaron suddenly woke up. Knight Ben behind him spoke. You're finally awake. You've been unconscious for a long time. Are you all right, Captain Aaron of the Guard? So you're still alive, Knight. I thought the demon had eaten you long ago. Knight Ben said that lion ought to have come from him instead. Your aura was getting weaker and weaker. I thought you were already dead. But just then, Aaron discovered that all the injuries on his body had actually healed, though he could not quite remember what had happened before. Knight Ben said that when he woke up, he saw Aaron already sitting there, and lying together with that demon. Don't tell me you weren't the one who did this. I absolutely won't believe it. Of course Aaron would not admit it, and he even said that he had already lost all memory of it. But now that the demon was dead, it was ultimately a good thing for them. That said, why had that group of demons targeted that foolish young lady? Knight Ben laughed out loud. Do you always speak so rudely about nobles? Also, there's no need for you to know these things. In any case, Ben felt that he owed Aaron a huge favor. Now, please allow me to introduce myself again. I am Ben, Knight of Burt City. Thank you very much indeed. But Aaron did not want to get too involved with him. After saying it was nothing, he did not continue any further. Time quickly reached the next day. That day, they first burned all the zombies. Those fools had sacrificed an entire village to summon a demon. and their target was merely the life of Kasadic's young lady. Eren always felt that this matter was not that simple, so it seemed he would have to be more careful from now on. After all the dead had been cremated, the whole team turned around and returned to Kasadic City. They decided to tell the outside world that Ben was the one who had killed the demon. After all, aside from Eren and Ben, there had been no third witness at all. For Eren, that was actually a good thing. If outsiders found out he had come into contact with a demon, the church would definitely step in to investigate, and then things would only grow bigger and bigger. In any case, Eren had survived this time, but this matter had still struck him hard, because Horn had died. Still, he should be able to get a pretty large bonus this time, which barely counted as some comfort. At that moment, Dylan suddenly popped up behind him. "Big brother, why are you walking so fast?" Who would have thought this guy was still alive? Eren had originally assumed he was already dead, but it turned out he had hidden in a pile of corpses and barely escaped disaster. It seemed this guy was even tougher than Eren had imagined. Eren responded with a backward elbow strike that sent him flying, telling him not to keep sticking to him. In the blink of an eye, it was already the next day again. Eren stared at the mirror with disbelief written all over his face. At first, he thought he was seeing things, that he was simply not fully awake yet. But after looking carefully, he discovered that an eye had really grown on his chest. That eye slowly opened. "You woke up pretty early." Even more absurdly, it could actually speak. At that moment, Eren truly could not keep it together and let out a scream. Eren instantly drew his dagger, and without hesitation stabbed it toward his own body. But the blade tip felt as though it had struck steel and got no reaction at all. But the eye said, "That feels great. No one has scratched my itch like that in a long time. A little higher, that feels good." Eren was nearly scared out of his wits by it. This was the first time he had ever encountered a situation like this. "You shut up." After hearing the commotion, the tavern lady downstairs was also baffled. After messing around for quite a while, Eren finally discovered that he simply could not do anything to that eye. "You should be that demon, right?" Thinking about it now, I really was unbelievably stupid. I actually bit off a piece of it with my mouth. No wonder my memory cut off. But the demon told Eren not to misunderstand. This had nothing to do with Eren's will. It was purely because it wanted to take Eren's body. Eren told it to get out right away and possess someone else, or else he would dig out the flesh around it too. But the demon said that was not something Eren could decide, and besides, it still needed some time before it could move its nest. Eren directly asked how long exactly that would take. If we calculate it seriously, probably about 100 years. Eren could not be bothered to waste more words, and immediately thrust a sword straight into its eye. But the demon secretly rejoiced inwardly. "Calm down first. Being possessed by me isn't nearly as bad as you think. It seems I'll have to show you properly. Today, I'll let you know exactly what kind of existence I am." The next second, a green light appeared in Eren's room, and that light tightly wrapped around Eren's body. That made Eren pause slightly. Could this be the legendary Holy Aura? That was a power only knights were supposed to be able to use. That knight Ben from before had used exactly this kind of power. But Eren had never imagined that even a demon could wield Holy Aura. Yet the very next second, Eren was rendered speechless. The holy aura that had just appeared suddenly disappeared again. From the look of the demon, it seemed already exhausted, but it still refused to admit it out loud. "See that? This is my value." Immediately after that, it slowly closed its eye. "This thing is way too weak. To think I got possessed by something like this, what a disgrace." At that moment, a loud crash suddenly came from outside the door. The tavern lady had chosen exactly this moment to come upstairs. "If I'm found out, that'll be troublesome." The tavern lady told Eren to hurry downstairs. She said someone was looking for him. "The one who came is from the monastery of the Kasadic Church. It seems they have business with you." But that person was extremely rude and directly shoved the tavern lady aside. "I don't have time to wait for him. He should be on the second floor, right?" He shouted at the top of his voice. "Knight Ben wants to see you. You commoner, get over there already and stop dragging your feet." Eren answered with a punch straight to his nose. "Why is your face so disgusting to look at? It makes me want to punch you to death. I'll go out when I'm ready. You lie there and wait." A moment later, Eren came down from upstairs. The tavern lady lit up the moment she saw him, and even told Eren to come back early, because recently she had learned a massage technique that felt extremely good. But the price was far too expensive, and Eren had no desire to spend that money. The tavern lady immediately looked hurt. "Then I'll charge you 40 copper coins." The sudden visit from the monastery people today had really frightened Eren badly, but after all the fuss, it turned out Ben merely wanted to see him. Eren was still wondering whether this guy was planning to share part of the demon hunting reward with him. It turned out that they had already discussed this matter yesterday. "Captain, you mean to give me all the credit for exorcising the demon?" Eren nodded. "If you feel bad about it, then just share some of the bonus with me. I don't care about the rest, but I won't refuse money." Ben laughed loudly. "I understand. When the reward is handed out, I'll definitely call you over. This guy may be a knight, but he really does understand how the world works. But come to think of it, that power meant to destroy evil and carry out justice, Holy Aura, was supposed to belong only to knights. And yet now, I can actually touch it too. Only those personally chosen and trained by the Empire were qualified to become knights, but almost no one truly knew how knights were actually trained. Eren had always believed that, but the power the demon had displayed was so similar to holy aura that it left him feeling that something was wrong. He had already started thinking about that reward money and asked Halfie how much longer it would take, and the man said they were almost there. That person was a little confused about what Halfie meant. It actually meant half a noble. You're the illegitimate son of an illegitimate noble, so this nickname suits you perfectly. Halfie looked like he was about to cry after hearing that. You bastard, one day I'm going to kill you. Very soon, they reached their destination. And it was actually the Sun Church Hall. At once, a layer of cold sweat broke out across Eren's back. I'm not really going to get finished off here today, am I? I've got a demon possessing me. After going inside, Ben actually seemed quite happy. You finally came. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Did suddenly calling you over scare you? Actually, Eren was not scared because of Ben at all. He was only afraid that the demon inside him would be exposed. At this moment, someone took the initiative to greet Eren. He was the priest of this church hall, and his name was Blyan. And beside him, there stood another person, whose name was Joanna. She was an inquisitor of heresy. Though she looked like a man, she was actually a woman. Both of these people were famous for their devotion. Looking at that woman, Eren felt uncomfortable all over. She seems hostile toward me. Otherwise, why is she staring at me the whole time? Did she discover the demon inside me? The next second, she suddenly threw a punch at Eren. At the same time, Eren instantly drew his blade as well. But she only lightly touched Eren. Eren was a little stunned. What exactly was the point of a punch with absolutely no killing intent? At this moment, Blyan spoke. This is a blessing personally bestowed upon you by the Inquisitor of Heresy. Joanna lashed 11 strikes toward Eren. So her earlier movement had only been some kind of religious ritual. But just from looking at it, who could possibly have guessed that? The demon inside Eren immediately grew irritated. This place makes me very uncomfortable. Hurry up and get me out of here. Blyan slowly spoke. I have already heard that you helped Knight Ben achieve quite a great deal. This is a small token from the church, and we hope to commend your effort and merit. The moment he saw those items, Eren was stunned. There were actually quite a few gold coins there, and as for the badge in the middle, he did not pay it much attention. But in truth, he could not afford not to care, because in the eyes of these people, that badge was far more important than the gold. Eren immediately said that he could not accept it, that it was far too precious. But Blyan told Eren to accept it without worry. He only hoped that if the Sun Church ever ran into trouble in the future, Eren would be willing to lend a hand. Quite a few nobles and powerful people in Kassadin City had been rumored to be corrupt, and it was said that Blyan was one of them. If Eren were willing to follow him, maybe he really could gain quite a lot, considering that he was the true religious leader of this era in every meaningful sense. From today onward, you are the father of my faith. Joanna beside him looked utterly speechless. Was there something wrong with this guy's brain? After Eren returned, all his team members were dumbfounded. Eren asked what was wrong with them and why each one of them had that expression. Was his armor not handsome enough? But in their eyes, Eren now looked exactly like a vulgar nouveau riche. And rather than using those gold coins to buy armor, it would be better for him to first pay back the debt he owed the tavern. At this moment, Charlotte spoke to them. You two customers owe me another beer. Then she slowly set the beer on the table. Come on, enjoy yourselves. Charlotte was looking for Brig, but Brig was not on duty today. Could Charlotte be interested in Brig? In a place like Kassadin City, there really aren't many good men like Brig. At this moment, she said that when she saw Brig, she was going to give him a massage. Eren immediately remembered what the tavern lady had said to him before. Could it be that her massage technique had been learned from Charlotte? But anyway, this beer really was not very satisfying. Because it was too warm. He truly missed the kind of ice-cold draft beer he used to have. Charlotte suddenly remembered something. Have you heard? Recently, it seems a group specializing in gambling scams has arrived in the city. Eren remembered that there was an inn called the Sickly Mermaid. And recently quite a few outsiders had moved in there. They had also started a gambling den on the side. And at this moment, Dylan was sitting right there in that gambling game. He only felt that it was absurd. There had been 5 rounds in a row, and every time it was fix. He had already started suspecting that the other side was cheating. He had heard that there seemed to be a little girl over there controlling the entire dice game. Eren slammed his cup down heavily. Quite bold for such a little brat. A minor actually dares to run a gambling ring on my turf, Eren's turf. As the captain of the Kassadin Outer City Guard, there is absolutely no way I can pretend I didn't see this. Kel quickly advised Eren not to go. If you cause trouble again, then things will really become a disaster. But Eren clearly did not see it that way. How is this causing trouble? This is clearly a merit to my name. Let's go. Let's go meet that little girl. It's everyone's duty to put an end to gambling, so hurry up and follow me. It just so happens my hands are itching too. I haven't gambled in a long time. Right after Eren heard about the gambling den from Charlotte, he directly took Kel with him to that gambling house. The moment he walked in, someone recognized Eren. But judging from Eren's expression, something was clearly off. Just seeing this long unvisited casino already made him feel a little nostalgic. That person pointed at Aaron and said, "So you're not here to crack down on gambling? And hadn't you already quit gambling?" But Aaron said that after gambling one last time today, he would leave. It was rare for him to be carrying such a large amount of cash. He casually pulled out a chair and sat down, took out a money pouch, and said to the girl across from him, "You're pretty good at shaking dice. How about a game? Let me, Aaron, see what you can do. Don't hold back on me." With that, Aaron picked up the dice cup and started shaking it. Unexpectedly, Aaron rolled a 6. It seemed his luck really was good today. But by coincidence, the girl also rolled a 6. That immediately piqued Aaron's interest. If that was the case, then the bet would keep going up, double it directly. The girl was clearly delighted inside. This person really is stupid. In that case, I'll double it too. This is truly the first time I've seen someone this stupid, actually raising the stakes by himself over and over. At this moment, a man behind her gave a light cough. And that cough was the signal that the girl was about to reel in the net. It's only natural that he do that. After all, he could never dream that I can casually change the number with magic. I do feel a little sorry, but very soon I'll make you lose absolutely everything. But the next second, Aaron directly slammed his cup upside down on the table. "Nobody move. Don't even think about cheating with magic." Those words directly startled the girl. She stood up on the spot. "Do you have any proof?" "Proof?" Of course Aaron had proof. "You definitely changed my dice to a 4 just now. So next, you'll also change your own number to 4 and end this round right away, won't you?" Using such a lame trick, she really is looking down on me too much. After the dice cup was opened, Aaron's side really was a 4 as well. "I'll bet all my money, plus one hand, that you used magic to change the number. If you don't dare continue, then get out right now." This kind of trick is way too common, using a low-level mage like you to pull this cheap gambling scam. The man behind her directly drew a dagger. "I thought a fool had come in, but who would have thought you'd actually see through them? If you don't want to die here, hand over all the money you just won, then get out. Looks like you people really don't know who I am. Anyone around here who knows me wouldn't do something this stupid. Gambling dice with this little girl is actually kind of interesting." Aaron directly took out a gold coin. "How about one last throw? This is a genuine Sun Church gold coin, worth at least 500,000 copper. I think using this as the stake should be enough." The moment they saw that gold coin, all of their expressions changed instantly. Even the boss in the back looked confused. "You clearly know we cheat, and you know this girl is a mage. Then why do you still dare to gamble with us on purpose? What the hell are you plotting, bastard?" Aaron truly did not understand why they were talking so much nonsense. "If you're scared, then don't gamble." The word scared completely enraged the other side. The next second, he smashed an axe straight down onto the table. "Fine. Then I'll use this money, plus one of this girl's hands, to bet this round against you. If anything goes wrong, forget about keeping your own hand." In the blink of an eye, they had already surrounded Aaron. "Little girl, at your age you should be attending magic school. Why are you running around with people like this? Was it after you started learning magic that you realized you just weren't suited for it? Or is your family too poor, and you want to earn your own tuition?" Kana was nervous beyond measure, because what was at stake in this round was her own hand. "Stop talking nonsense. You'll affect my spellcasting. If you don't understand anything, then stop talking and focus on the gamble." Seeing her reaction, Aaron knew that he had guessed right. The boss cursed inwardly that Aaron was an idiot. He had bluffed so much just now, but in the end, he really had only wanted to stall for time. What a pity, though. "Since you've already seen through us, we never plan to let you leave here alive." After exchanging looks with the boss, the younger lackeys all nodded as well. But just before opening the dice cup, Aaron suddenly asked one more question. "Little girl, do you know magic that can turn beer cold?" That left Kana completely baffled. "I guess so. You just need the most basic freezing spell." But the instant those words left her mouth, the corners of Aaron's lips curled up at once. The question that had been bothering him for a long time finally had an answer. "In that case, there's no need to continue this gamble. You've already passed." The moment he heard the word passed, the boss beside her instantly broke out in a cold sweat. What the hell was wrong with this guy? His aura had changed all at once. Aaron raised his hand and smashed the dice cup straight into the boss's face. A dice game. Shake the 2 dice in the cup, add the numbers together, and the side with the higher last digit wins. That whole group exploded. "What the hell are you doing? Get him." This is what's called a warrior's wager. This kind of game is pretty popular in the Middle Ages. Aaron knocked a burly man flat with one punch. The reason it was popular was because there was a saying that one blessed by martial fortune would never lose. Aaron threw several more punches in succession, smashing them hard into the other man's face. Their boss also charged at Aaron, swinging his weapon. The axe came chopping down head-on, but Aaron dodged it in an instant. In his eyes, that speed was slower than a turtle. "Hey, don't you think you're pathetic?" That sentence directly left the boss stunned. A grown man actually living off a little yellow-haired girl. What a useless piece of medieval trash. The next second, Aaron grabbed him by the throat. "If you don't even have a sense of shame, then I can teach you personally." The boss's expression twisted in extreme pain, but inwardly he still believed he had already won. because someone had already quietly appeared behind Aaron, and Aaron seemed not to have noticed at all. But the instant the other party made a move, Aaron suddenly turned around and faced the dagger head-on. Aaron let out a cold laugh. "So you're still playing the sneak attack game? You seem pretty practiced at it. Since living like this is so shameful, I might as well let you die by your own man's hand." With a wet thud, that blade plunged straight into his chest. Immediately after that, Aaron grabbed another man by the head as well. The little girl standing behind them stared blankly at the way Aaron fought. "This guy is way too outrageous. He's absurdly strong. He can actually beat down this many ruthless people all by himself. He's like a war god. The people lying on the ground can only serve as stepping stones beneath him." At this moment, Kel also hurried up to try to break things up. The boss is really something else. Every time he plays dice, it ends up turning into a fight. This guy seems to be a wanted criminal from the neighboring district. I'll leave the rest to you. And Aaron had already walked in front of that little girl. "Refrigerator brat, come here." The refrigerator brat was so frightened that she kept begging for mercy, hoping Aaron would let her go. But in the next second, she froze. "You should be short on money, right? As long as you help me make some iced beer every day, I'll introduce you to a job. Until you're able to go to Magic Academy, I can also provide you food and lodging for free. If you're willing, come with me. I guarantee you'll like that job." At that moment, the little girl finally stopped crying. "I promise you, I'm willing to go with you." The scene shifted, and Aaron was once again training as usual. And at this time, that little swindler had appeared behind Aaron as well. But now, that little swindler had changed her name to Mini Fridge. Aaron casually took the beer she handed over. He tilted his head back and took 2 huge gulps. This feeling was just too satisfying. He could no longer remember how long it had been since he last drank something like this. Aaron asked her, "How old are you, brat?" She said she was 12. "How can a 12-year-old be this tiny? Are you a dwarf?" At that moment, the tavern lady walked over from the side. "Aaron, this little girl couldn't possibly be your daughter, could she?" The moment he heard that, Aaron froze completely, and the beer in his mouth sprayed all over the floor. "What nonsense are you talking about? How could she possibly be my daughter? I picked up this little fridge. No, this ice mage. And don't you happen to be short on workers here anyway? Just think of it as gaining another helper. Take good care of her for me." The tavern lady nodded, feeling that Aaron had a point. Besides, how could such a cute little girl possibly be the daughter of a rough brute like him? This period following that scumbag must have been really hard on you. Big sister will protect you from now on. "What's your name?" "My name is Kana." The tavern lady revealed a mischievous smile. "What a lovely name. Kana, how many cups of ice beer like this can you make in a day?" When she heard Kana say that she could make 300 cups, she got so excited she nearly jumped up. Seeing that, Aaron felt that it was about time for him to go to work too. The days he lived through every day were actually all about the same. First get chewed out, then get warned not to keep causing trouble. Then, in name, inspect the condition of the fruit. Though when it came to these things, he never had to pay to eat them. After that, he would patrol the market and maintain order in Kassadok City. One old man kept acting unconvinced, but the old woman beside him shot him a vicious glare. "You should be glad he's the one watching the street now. Those hoodlums from before don't dare come cause trouble anymore." Finally, he would go collect a little money in a friendly way. If those people could not pay enough, then they would not be entering the city. This was also the unspoken rule accepted by both sides, because they were smugglers to begin with, not legitimate merchants. Afterward, Aaron casually tossed an apple to one of his subordinates. "Keep 1/3 of the money we stopped today on yourselves and use it to buy drinks." Guarding the entrance to the outer city and strictly inspecting everyone who wanted to enter, that was Aaron's job. But Aaron quickly noticed that hardly anyone wanted to enter the city today. Could it be that lately people had already spread rumors that his toll was too high? Suddenly, someone appeared behind Aaron. He only heard the man say in a sinister tone, "The camellia flower never withers. Did Scar send you to find me again?" That man immediately made a shushing gesture. "You must not directly say that lord's name. He is the shadow of Kassadok City." Aaron could not be bothered to listen to his nonsense. "Spit it out." The man said that recently, Kassadok City had gained many unfamiliar outsiders. According to the investigation, many outsiders disguise themselves as merchants and also make suspicious moves. Take a look at this letter first. This was personally written by the King of Shadows. Aaron took it and glanced through it. It said that those people had already entered the city 3 days ago, yet had never gone out, clearly hiding their tracks on purpose. But they cannot fool the eyes of me, Scar, the King of Shadows, whose sworn best friend serves under my name. As I control the shadows of Kassadok City, Aaron, you shall move in the light. After reading it, Aaron directly crushed the envelope in his hand. This guy was being way too cringy. Aaron had already been busy to death these past few days, yet the other man still had the leisure to write such nonsense. Aaron told him to pass a message to Scar and tell him to stop playing these childish games. The man instantly burst into tears. "Not only did you tear up the handwritten letter of the Shadow Monarch, you even called it playing house." Aaron told him not to stand there pretending to be pitiful. To put it plainly, outsiders coming here just stimulated the economy. Wasn't that a good thing? In a tiny border town like this, where would so many problems come from? Just then, a carriage appeared in front of Aaron. So Aaron immediately told Sleepyhead beside him to wake up. This carriage looks rich. Time to make some money. So the two of them stopped the carriage together. Hello, please stop for a moment first. According to regulations, we need to carry out a routine inspection. But this person on the carriage made Aaron pause in surprise. The guy had shifty eyes and a sneaky face. Just from his features alone, he looked suspicious, either a crooked businessman or a criminal. Aaron had even already begun considering whether to arrest him on the spot, but unexpectedly, Sleepyhead beside him actually knew him. Captain, he's a merchant sent by the Mosaic Trading Company to the Casadic branch. His name is Delanor. We met him during the city entry inspection not long ago. That man immediately gave Aaron a respectful smile. So this is the captain of the guard. Truly handsome and impressive. I almost thought you were a knight. While speaking, he quietly slipped a money pouch into Aaron's hand. It must be hard work guarding the city day and night. That almost made Aaron lose control of his expression. He had not expected the sneaky-looking guy to be so sensible. You really do have good judgment. You're definitely a talent. I like talented people the most. From now on, call me Big Brother. At this moment, Sleepyhead said somewhat sheepishly, "Do you still have that thing you brought me last time?" The man immediately said of course, then took out a bottle. Aaron had absolutely no idea what they were up to and could not tell what the thing even was. But Sleepyhead treated it like treasure and quickly told Aaron not to try to take it. That left Aaron speechless. No matter what, we still need to confirm exactly what you're bringing into the city this time. Aaron's fingers tightened slightly. Your carriage isn't carrying something shady, is it? While they were talking, Aaron noticed that something was hanging around the man's neck. Taking a closer look, it turned out to be a tattoo. Just then, Sleepyhead looked into the carriage with disgust all over his face. Captain, come take a look. When they opened it, even Aaron froze for a second. Inside was actually a pile of goat carcasses. From the look of it, they were obviously not being transported to a slaughterhouse. The meat had already started rotting. If it was left like this any longer, forget selling the meat, even the whole carriage would be ruined. Aaron truly could not understand why they were transporting this kind of thing. The man stared at him darkly. It seemed there was no help for it. He would just have to handle it this way for now. This guy really is a crooked merchant, and rotten to the core. But you paid a lot, so at least you know how to do things. For the sake of you being my little brother, I'll let you in this time. You're welcome to come often in the future to Cal City. After that sneaky-eyed fellow left, the corners of his mouth could not help curling into a cold smile. You people really are stupid, actually welcoming me into the city. Before long, I'll turn this entire Casadic city into a living hell. After he left, Aaron turned to Sleepyhead beside him and said, "His name is Delanor, right? Why do I feel like he seems a little afraid of heights?" Sleepyhead beside him was obviously unable to understand what that meant. Recently, Casadic City really has gained many unfamiliar outsiders, and many of them disguise themselves as merchants and make suspicious moves. Looks like this time, Scar really was right. But once they've entered the city, it becomes my territory. Little brother Delanor, you'd better protect yourself well, because in this Middle Ages, you are either innocent or sentenced to death. After busying himself pointlessly all day, Aaron came to the tavern with his teammates for a drink, and unexpectedly heard some news. Who would have thought that Charlotte, the most beautiful woman in town, was actually going on a date with Aaron's teammate? That immediately made Kel beside him unhappy. Why would a dumb giant like you get asked out by someone? But even more ridiculous was that the location of their date was actually the execution grounds. Had they mistaken it for an amusement park? That made Aaron even more certain that people in the Middle Ages were still uncivilized. I'm planning to bring the bread my mother made that day. The moment they heard that sentence, Aaron and Kel's hands trembled at the same time. You don't mean that fish head bread your mother makes, do you? Just thinking about it makes me want to throw up. Aaron and Kel almost retched at the same time. That flavor was something that after tasting once, no one would ever want to touch again. Brig immediately looked unconvinced. What's wrong with my family's fish head bread? It's obviously delicious. Although I feel sorry to say this about your mother, that damned fish head bread is basically baked dog shit. At that moment, someone suddenly walked into the tavern. He was reciting, "The camellia flower never withers." Before he could even finish, Aaron knocked him to the floor with one punch. Then Aaron tossed out the words, "Scar is looking for me. Good luck on your date," and turned around and left. Aaron dragged this man all the way into an alley. And ahead of Aaron, someone was already waiting there. "Welcome, my dear friend. I've been waiting for you for a long time." This person was Scar, the self-proclaimed shadow of Casadic City. "Do you remember our oath? You stand in the light, I hide in the dark. Together we control Casadic City." Aaron directly shot him a vicious glare. "If you say one more word, I'll kill you right now. I was only halfway through my meal, and this idiot actually dared to come looking for me. And what the hell is this stupid hat of yours supposed to be now? You're even making everyone wear these clothes and these hats." Aaron ordered them to take all the clothes off. With no other choice, the group could only obediently remove their hats. Aaron had already told Scar long ago to stop playing these childish games. They were really boring. But Scar still told Aaron to hear him out first. "Do you remember what I told you earlier with that note? I said that recently, the outsiders entering Kassadok City have all been acting suspiciously. Whenever they move around at night, they deliberately avoid us. So I suspect that before long, something will definitely happen. We have to strengthen our guard in advance. Aaron grabbed him by the ear. Who do you think you are? Just because you say something will happen, does that mean it definitely will? Our guard force will handle things ourselves. Stay out of it. And Aaron had also heard that lately Scar was not even going to the carpentry workshop anymore. Your dad Jason has been looking for you all this time lately. Do you seriously not care? The moment he heard that his dad was looking for him, Scar immediately turned and ran. My dear friend, we'll meet again next time. Actually, deep down, Aaron still did care a little about what Scar had said. Before long, something really might happen. So during this period, I'd better be a little more careful. After that, he went to a friend's house. He knocked gently on the door, and soon there was a response from inside. And the two who opened the door were Aaron's old friends, the executioner Darius and his son Ted. When Ted saw Aaron's outfit, his eyes were full of admiration. Aaron, your armor looks even cooler than before. Aaron gave them some apples he had picked up along the way. He had brought them over on purpose. But Aaron noticed that their home was still as quiet and desolate as ever. The executioner quickly invited Aaron to sit down. I'm really sorry that you always think of us every time. Aaron said, don't be so polite. Those apples didn't cost anything anyway. I snatched them. The executioner had heard that the 6 criminals going to the execution platform this time had all been caught by Aaron. He sincerely felt that Aaron was impressive. It's nothing much, just good luck. But speaking of it, I didn't expect your son to have grown this much. Kids these days really grow fast. In the blink of an eye, they're all grown up. The executioner laughed heartily. Hasn't the tavern lady confessed to you yet? Everyone in town knows she likes you. Aaron told him not to talk nonsense, and while speaking handed over another money pouch. Nova told me to give this to you. She said it's the deposit for this commission. This time the Lord will also be present. She hopes you'll show your best skills. The executioner nodded. Tell her she doesn't need to worry about that kind of thing. This time, the executioner planned to bring his son along as well. It was about time he started preparing to inherit the family trade. A butcher's son grows up to become a butcher. So for him to become an executioner in the future was the most normal thing here. Once he reached the right age, he would have to do it. But passing on this kind of work, rejected by others, to the next generation made Aaron feel very uncomfortable inside. Especially since Darius's wife had ultimately left because of this job. At this moment, Ted cut open an apple. He turned around and smiled at Aaron. Come eat some apple. Aaron said, you eat first. I'll talk with your father a little longer. After that, they talked about Hans again. It's really such a pity about Hans. Such a good kid, and yet he became a criminal overnight. Anyone can become a criminal. It has nothing to do with whether they're good or not, because this is the damned Middle Ages, where people have no human rights. Maybe one day I'll become a criminal too. When that happens, you'll have to chop my head off in one stroke. The executioner laughed loudly. Don't worry. I'll definitely send you off with my best technique. I absolutely won't let you suffer one bit more than necessary. At that moment, Ted also ran over. Uncle Aaron had better commit his crime a little later. That way, Ted can be the one to chop your head off himself. The executioner smoothly added, then we'll meet on the execution ground. Aaron left with a smile. Something like that was obviously impossible, so he did not take it to heart at all. At the same time, elsewhere, another group of people had gathered together. Because Scar had been having people watch them all this time, these past few days had made it hard for them to act in secret. And on top of that, there had been that disturbance outside the city not long ago. That damned useless trash carried such a strong demon and still failed in the end. Truly worthless. The leader immediately told them to lower their voices. In a few days, an execution will be carried out in the square. At that time, we must seize the heart of Kassadok's young lady. That will be our only chance. The others immediately lowered their heads and answered, yes, Lord de Lenore. But my lord, is that guy in the back asleep, or is he already dead? At that moment, Sleepyhead muttered in his sleep, Captain, let me sleep a little longer. Very soon, it was the day of the execution. On that day, Kana once again used magic to chill the beer. That sight left everyone stunned. They immediately pulled out their wallets and fought to buy beer. And at this time, the tavern lady also launched a new product, bread with strawberry jam, best eaten with wine. Business exploded in an instant, and even 2 of Aaron's companions were dragged over to work as servers. The tavern lady ran over to Aaron and praised him for being a genius. Thanks to his idea, all the customers had been drawn in, and Kana's ice beer was especially popular. This was exactly what Aaron had imagined from the beginning. But even if he wanted to explain it, this bunch would not understand anyway. After all, these barbarians could even eat bread soaked in the blood of executed criminals. The tavern lady asked Aaron why he had taken Kana in the first place, and Aaron's reason was that he wanted iced beer. But the tavern lady was too sharp. She saw at a glance that this was definitely not the whole reason. You normally don't like meddling in other people's business, so tell me quickly, why exactly did you take her in? For a moment, Aaron did not know how to answer. He remembered his previous life, when he had once picked up a stray kitten from the roadside. That kitten had really been a lot like Kana now. The tavern lady got goosebumps all over hearing that. She simply could not imagine what Aaron raising a cat would even look like. At this moment, one of Aaron's team members came over looking pitiful and complained, "Our squad was clearly off today. So why do we still have to gather and come here to work as your servers?" Aaron said, "We recently received an accusation letter. Just treat this as undercover work. If you spot anyone suspicious, report to me immediately." The moment he heard that, the team member instantly perked up. "But why are only you and Poole here? Where are the others?" He said that Brig was on a date with Charlotte. And as for that sleepyhead, he was probably still sleeping. But at this moment, no one knew that a bead on Sleepyhead's table had already turned black. After finishing up, Aaron came to the basement. But he had not expected that Ted was already there ahead of him. Seeing that Aaron had arrived, Ted also looked very happy. Aaron asked him why he had come alone to a place like this. Kind-hearted Ted had seen that those guests were very nervous, so he had come specially to comfort them. So he shouted toward the people in the cage, "Dear guests, there's no need to be nervous or afraid. My dad has already chopped off hundreds of heads, so he's really very skilled." But words that sounded almost demonic made the people in the cage tremble all at once. At this moment, one of the criminals suddenly moved. He walked over to Aaron's side, mumbling nonstop, as though he had something he wanted to say. But Aaron simply could not understand what he was saying. And right now, Aaron had no interest in wasting words on him either, because it was almost time for these guests to be sent on their way. In the blink of an eye, it was time for the first person to be executed. The executioner's eyes darkened, and in the next second, with a sharp swish, he struck down. The moment the blood fell, the entire crowd erupted completely. The violence they had suppressed for so long seemed to be released in that instant. Right after that, Aaron escorted another person onto the execution platform. In the Middle Ages, public execution served, on one hand, to vent the citizens' long-accumulated brutality. Besides that, there was another even more important reason. That was to display the authority and ruling power of the one in power to everyone. It was itself a celebration loaded with intense political significance. But looking at the execution platform in front of him, Aaron felt a faint sense that something was wrong. Nova had already reminded him before that this execution carried great significance. And the criminals he had captured this time were precisely the murderers of a Carson noble. On top of that, the Lord had recently been preparing to establish diplomatic ties with Carson. So this execution, rather than being a punishment, felt more like a diplomatic ceremony. Absolutely nothing can go wrong. Every time Nova said that, an ominous feeling would rise in Aaron's heart. And at this very moment, Aaron suddenly noticed a suspicious person below. His gaze slowly locked onto that person. When the other party slowly removed his hood, Aaron immediately recognized that face. Aaron remembered that face too clearly. Once seen, it could never be forgotten. Because that person was exactly the one he had stopped at the city gate 2 days ago. Aaron did not understand why Delanor had appeared here, and why he still wore that cold and evil smile on his face. But at that very moment, an explosion suddenly erupted. All the villagers were stunned. What in the world is happening here? Is that a bomb? But there was no time for them to react at all, because the explosion had already fully spread. Aaron instantly realized something was wrong. This was definitely someone trying to storm the execution ground. And the scale of this explosion was terrifyingly large. Even worse, Lord Foolpoots was directly blasted into the air. Aaron had always thought that old man looked a bit like a bird, but he had not expected that the guy could really fly. It seemed looks really could affect fate sometimes. But the next second, Aaron suddenly realized an even more serious problem. If the Lord died in this accident, then his own head was basically as good as gone too. At this point, Aaron even felt a bit of admiration for the executioner. At a moment like this, he was still continuing his work. "I'm an executioner. How could I possibly let my attention be diverted by something else? I'm only trying my best to fulfill my duty." Hearing that, Aaron smiled slightly too. If that's the case, then shouldn't I also go fulfill my duty for a bit? After all, I am the captain of the guard. With that, he plunged straight into the sea of fire and ran wildly toward the source of the explosion. The scene had long since fallen into complete chaos, and no one had expected such a sudden incident to happen. Aaron's companions quickly tried to calm the crowd. "Don't run around. Everyone just evacuate in order." At this moment, the tavern lady did not even care about her stall anymore and held Kana tightly without letting go. And Aaron pulled 2 children out of the flames. "Why are you still here? Go, now!" Aaron quickly asked them whether they had seen anyone suspicious, such as someone wearing a cloak. At that moment, Aaron suddenly caught sight of a suspicious figure flashing ahead. And that person was exactly the target he was looking for, Delanor. At that moment, Delanor was carrying Lady Vivian in his arms. Aaron truly could not understand what was going on with this woman. Why was everyone targeting her? This time, it was her again. But no matter what, he could only save her first. So Aaron immediately told his team members to follow. "From now on, we're pursuing the criminal. If we fail to catch him this time, then we can all wait to lose our heads together." But there were simply too many people at the scene. And on top of that, it was already nearing evening, so it got dark quickly. In the end, they still lost track of him. One of the men behind him could not help jinxing it. This isn't going to end up like what happened with Hans again, is it? We work ourselves to death and it all ends in nothing. At that moment, one of Aaron's team members picked up another piece of news. The Lord was still alive. Who would have thought that after being blasted away, he still survived? That old man really did have a hard life to kill. Besides that, there was another piece of news. Apparently a knight had been caught in the explosion and died on the spot. Aaron sneered inwardly and said loudly, "I've said it long ago. That bunch of knights can't be relied on at all, and they can't be trusted either. They're not even as good as our guard." But when Aaron turned around, he instantly froze in embarrassment, because standing in front of him was, of all people, a knight who indeed looked rather unreliable. The other man did not mind Aaron's words in the slightest. "It's really been a long time, Aaron." Aaron could not very well keep talking after that. After all, they were old acquaintances, and he still had to show some respect where it was due. Still, he looked puzzled. "You're obviously a knight, so why is it that every time I see you, you're the one getting beaten up? I'm starting to doubt your identity." Knight Ben explained that he had been careless this time, and that the criminal was actually a dark mage. Then he lowered his voice and said that there was a traitor among the soldiers, so Aaron had to be careful. Hearing those words, Aaron froze on the spot for a moment. But before he could react, a scream suddenly came from not far away. Aaron and his men instantly changed expression. That voice sounded like Kel's. At that moment, Kel was in danger. Standing in front of him was a strange blue figure. Kel looked as if he were in terrible pain, letting out hysterical screams. But this scene only left the man opposite him confused. That blue man could not understand it at all. "Didn't I only punch you once? You're way too good at acting. I didn't even use any strength just now." Of course Kel was completely fine. He had only wanted to lure someone over. "Wait just a second." The blue man instantly became furious and had no idea what Kyle was talking about. But the next second, with a loud boom, Kel was overjoyed inside. "Finally. Looks like your ears really are sharp." Aaron came charging in violently and grabbed the blue man by the throat. "I think I heard my companion screaming. Was that you?" Under Aaron's terrifying grip strength, the blue man had no power to resist at all, and inwardly cursed him as a monster. This guy's grip is way too absurd. He's not human at all. Even Aaron himself found it a little strange. A weakling like this actually dared to attack this place? Who exactly gave him the courage? And the feeling this fellow gave Aaron was also somewhat different from the demons outside. Aaron had never seen a demon like this before. Just as the blue man was about to suffocate, Aaron loosened his grip. A guy like this posed no threat to him anyway, so he might as well ask a few questions first. "You should have seen my strength clearly by now, right? If you don't want to go through that again, then talk honestly. Otherwise, I really will use force." The moment Aaron finished speaking, the other man spilled everything he knew like beans. "That dark mage is the mastermind. That guy wants the young lady's heart. He's a complete villain through and through." Aaron's men all laughed after hearing that. It looked like this guy's survival instinct had fully kicked in. He was being obedient to an absurd degree. But while he kept talking, Aaron felt that he had already heard enough. "So in other words, you're just some contractor working for a demon. Then why does he insist on the young lady's heart?" As for that point, he said he did not know either. Aaron waved his hand and told his companions to take him away first. Since he had been so cooperative, they would spare his life for now. That little demon was instantly overjoyed. "Thank you, you're such a good person, Kel." Aaron's companion also smiled and said to him, "Next time you see us, cooperate like this again. Otherwise, you'll really die." Judging from the clues they had now, that meant Eleanor was a dark mage, and he had made the demon's underlings into his followers. But what exactly was the deal with the young lady? And what exactly was her heart for? At that moment, someone suddenly called out to Aaron from behind. "Captain, so you were here." The one who came was Sleepyhead. Aaron asked if he had only just woken up after sleeping all this time. "Next time, don't sleep this long again. If this keeps up, it'll become an illness sooner or later." As he spoke, he slowly approached Aaron. "Captain, do you know how painful it is not to be able to sleep? For people who lack sleep for a long time, even with their eyes open, it feels like they never really woke up. It's like their whole body is trapped in a dream, and their head is full of fog, unable to see anything clearly." And while saying this, he had already quietly drawn the dagger hidden behind his back. In the next second, his expression suddenly changed, and Aaron reacted with extreme speed, immediately drawing his sword and blocking the attack. Aaron had no idea what was going on. Could he be the traitor the knight had mentioned? But why did it have to be his own teammate? Sleepyhead wore a chilling expression as he said, "Good night, Captain. I'm sending you off to a dream you'll never wake up from." It turned out that when Sleepyhead was young, he had once gone through a famine. Because there was no food, let alone tree roots, people even fought over rats to eat. And at that time, rats actually counted as fragrant meat. But eating rats would make people sick. So in that famine, many people died. But then one day, meat suddenly appeared on the table. And after a very long time, his family finally got to eat meat again. Everyone had clearly been eating happily. But there had always been something weighing on Sleepyhead's mind. That night, he still could not sleep. Because his body was too weak, he could not go out to work, and so he got no share of the meat. Everyone else, however, had been able to work. From that day on, he had never slept well again. Captain, do you know how afraid he was every single day? Everyone else had meat to eat, but all of them kept it from me. At this moment, Aaron swung his sword and blocked the attack. Aaron had heard the things he had just said before, long ago. But that was absolutely not a reason to make deals with criminals. Aaron slowly stepped back 2 paces. Captain, don't you think he's strong? It must be because I can finally sleep properly now, which is why I've become this strong. I owe all of this to those candies Dronzer gave me. Magic power began surging out all over his body. So he's already obtained demonic power. His muscles and speed have both improved a lot. But when all is said and done, this brat seems like he never trained seriously, yet somehow was born knowing how to fight. In the next second, he charged at Aaron again. But even so, in front of Aaron, he was still nothing worth mentioning. Don't forget, I was once the king of mercenaries. Sleepyhead's movements were astonishingly fast, but Aaron's reactions were even faster. With only a single sidestep, he easily avoided that fatal strike. And this was precisely Sleepyhead's greatest weakness, his lack of real combat experience. Every one of his attacks was seen through completely by Aaron. Still, the walls here were far too fragile. Immediately after that, demonic power erupted again from Sleepyhead's palm. Roaring in fury, he smashed a punch straight toward Aaron. As for Sleepyhead's past, Aaron actually understood it very well, because he himself did not sleep well every day either. So this time, I'll forgive you. Now let me send you off to a good sleep. The next second, a sword pierced straight through his chest. You forgive me too. At that moment, a trace of clarity seemed to return to Sleepyhead's eyes, and he turned back into his old self again. He seemed to see his older brother, and the corner of his mouth slowly formed a smile. I'm so sleepy, really sleepy, and so tired too. In the final moment before his death, Aaron said softly, this time, sleep in peace. I'll also sing him another lullaby. But in the very next second, another explosion suddenly erupted here. No one had expected that Dronzer had actually escaped through that dog hole from before. At this moment, he had already placed Lady Vivian on the stone platform, and his expression had become incomparably grim. Those troublesome fools really are stubborn. I never thought I would actually be reduced to crawling through a dog hole. But all of this is worth it, because I'm about to obtain the young lady's heart. Once I do, I'll gain the one beloved by magic. All I need to do is dig out that heart. With that, he raised his dagger without hesitation, preparing to carve out that heart. But just then, Aaron's voice came from behind him. So this is where you were hiding. No wonder I couldn't find you anywhere. Sleepyhead was the one who told you about that dog hole, wasn't he? Brother, let's have a nice talk. Though Aaron's tone was calm, the killing intent in it was already suffocating. But Dronzer did not take him seriously at all. I thought the one chasing after me would be a knight. Then he directly used demonic power as well. Behind him appeared a giant serpent. You're just a mere guard captain. Why do you insist on going this far? Then he ordered that serpent to lunge at Aaron. And in that very instant, Aaron suddenly drew his sword, and with a single strike cut the snake in 2 on the spot. But that was not the end of it. Behind him, another wolf actually appeared. That wolf bit down on Aaron's arm, and blood instantly splattered everywhere. But Aaron did not care in the slightest. With a backhand slash, he split that wolf apart too. However, this was clearly not an ordinary attack. It was more like a curse spell. Aaron immediately felt his body become abnormally heavy, and even his movements began to grow sluggish. The longer this dragged on, the worse it would be for him. Dronzer instantly laughed. So you're not just a big body after all. But do you have what it takes to deal with Quillensil's Shadow Legion? His aura began rising without stop. Aaron almost laughed out loud. There were only a few animal shadows in total, and he dared call that a legion? If this counted as a legion, the scale was laughably shabby. Those words completely enraged Dronzer. He stopped wasting time and immediately ordered all those shadow beasts to pounce on Aaron together. By all rights, Aaron should have taken him back alive. But this bastard had dragged Aaron's subordinate into all of this, and had even sold him to a demon. So this matter was absolutely unforgivable. With a burst of speed, Aaron charged straight before the snake shadow. Now I sentence you to death, you piece of trash. Right after that, he shattered the venomous serpent with one slash, then split apart a giant bird and a wolf one after another. But in the end, these things were nothing more than phantoms formed from demonic energy. The one who truly needed to be dealt with was still Dronzer in front of him. At this moment, Dronzer's face had completely darkened as well. Why would a mere guard captain be this strong? Left with no choice, he could only use his real trump card. Those who bear the weight of punishment are all sinners. Raising both hands, he prepared to crush Aaron completely with demonic energy. The next second, one little demon after another suddenly crawled up from beneath Aaron's feet. They quickly wrapped themselves around Aaron's arms. In only a short while, those little demons rapidly grew into complete forms. You, a mere guard captain, think you can fight me? This is a triple curse that even knights find hard to break free from. But after hearing that, Aaron's expression did not change at all. In the next second, Dronzer stared in utter shock. Because those demons were all cut apart by Aaron in an instant. My hearing's not very good. What was that you just said about knights? I didn't catch it earlier. Want to say it again? Delanor had no mood left to repeat himself, and directly thrust his hand into his pocket. This time, I won't let you act so arrogantly again. With that, he suddenly opened a bottle, revealing the finger inside. And the instant the bottle shattered on the ground, that finger actually began to squirm. Even Aaron froze for a second at that sight. Could this be a demon summoned using a bishop's finger? Now things had truly gotten serious. That demon let out a roar, and with one sweep of its tail gouged a deep trench into the ground. Delanor burst into wild laughter. A mere guard captain dares act arrogant in front of me? But Aaron's figure had already rapidly closed in, and the strength in his hands was constantly gathering. His sword came down and struck viciously against the demon's teeth. But that blow actually failed to injure it. It seemed ordinary methods really were useless. Then Aaron took a deep breath. After filling his lungs, he actually charged straight into the demon's mouth. The next second, with a gulping sound, Aaron was swallowed whole. Seeing this, Delanor immediately burst out laughing. There's actually someone this stupid. What a loser. He actually jumped into a demon's mouth by himself. Aaron truly did not understand what exactly this idiot was laughing about. In any case, for him right now, getting inside was the most important thing. Then Aaron lightly tapped the demon in his own chest. Come out. The demon's eye slowly emerged behind Aaron. What, were you looking for me? So it really is awake. In that case, things are simple. After using that power last time, it stayed silent for so long. Now it's time for it to lend me that power again. The demon smiled. You really are as rude and slow as ever, but it's amusing. With that, it wrapped holy aura around Aaron's sword. It was willing to lend Aaron its power, but on one condition. Aaron asked with his eyes, what condition? It said he was not allowed to tell other demons about the holy aura. If he let it slip, then it would never help Aaron again. Immediately after that, the sword in Aaron's hand began to glow. And Aaron could clearly feel that power coursing through his whole body like lightning, bringing a tingling numbness. This was holy aura. He could not help but grin. This kind of power really had bite to it. It was absurdly intoxicating. The next second, he began wildly slashing inside the demon's body. After several strikes, the demon had already been hacked all over until it was covered in wounds. Then it let out a shrill scream, clearly unable to endure Aaron's holy aura any longer. And Eleanor outside had already completely lost track of what was happening. He simply could not understand why a guard captain would possess the holy aura that only knights should be able to command. That suddenly made a thought arise in his heart. Could Aaron actually be a knight too? But before he could think it through, Aaron had already directly hacked the demon to the ground. No matter how he thought about it, Delanor had never imagined that this seemingly unremarkable guard captain before him would be this terrifyingly strong. He could not help but step backwards several times. Were you sent by the royal family? But how could they possibly know about this plan? I never received any news. At this moment, in Delanor's eyes, Aaron looked almost like a true god of slaughter. You want to know my true identity? Then go ask in hell. The next second, Aaron directly sliced off his head, so fast that he did not even have time to feel pain. A few drops of blood slid down Aaron's neck. Since you're already dead, then I'll tell you my true identity. I am the captain of the guard, and my real identity is the king of mercenaries, an existence even stronger than a knight. After dealing with Delanor, the surroundings finally quieted down quite a bit. But just as Aaron was preparing to leave, a trace of magic actually spilled out from Delanor's mouth again. Immediately after that, a magic circle rose up, lifting his head into the air. Aaron turned back in surprise. He recognized that magic. It was a spell that only activated after death. Everything was already over, and yet there was still such an annoying backup plan. Aaron only wanted to hurry up and leave with Vivian. This is exactly why I hate getting involved with demons. The next second, a pillar of purple flame shot into the sky and blasted Aaron away. Fortunately, he had already rescued Vivian a step earlier. And now, Aaron had finally run into the most troublesome kind of thing. Behind him, it seemed that a truly terrifying monster had appeared. Its body was enormous beyond belief, and it had 2 horns on its head. The pressure radiating from it was almost enough to make people stop breathing. And at this moment, Aaron could only hold the young lady and desperately retreat first. The monster stomped 1 foot down, and even the ground shook. If Aaron were really stepped on, he would probably be crushed into paste on the spot. Aaron felt a burst of anger in his heart. Every single time, they pushed him into this kind of mess, and yet no one ever paid him overtime. Just then, Aaron heard someone shout, "My lady." Immediately after that, a beam of light blasted straight toward the demon's head. "Lady Vivian, Aaron came to save you. Where are you?" And behind this woman, there followed an old acquaintance as well. Her sword, too, was wrapped in holy aura. The two of them were clearly preparing to join forces and surround the demon. After several attacks landed in succession, the demon took multiple solid hits. And at this moment, Aaron was hiding behind them, calmly observing all of it. So the ones who had arrived were the knight and the inquisitor of heresy. The young lady in Aaron's arms also slowly woke up at this time. Because she had only just come to, her head was still fuzzy, and she actually mistook Aaron for her kidnapper. She had just opened her mouth to scream. when Aaron responded with a punch straight to her head. Then Aaron took out the handkerchief he had taken from Kel and prepared to cover the young lady's head with it, because the state she was in now was simply too miserable to look at. And by this point, Aaron's task for today was finally more or less over. What an exhausting day it had been. Captain Aaron of the guard could finally get off work. Meanwhile, on the other side, after a fierce battle, those two had finally finished off the demon. The night looked full of anguish. Where exactly is my lady? The Inquisitor of Heresy swept her gaze around. At last, she found the young lady's location. But the problem was, why was the young lady lying here? The two of them rushed over as fast as possible, and just as they were about to ask, "Are you all right?" they saw a lump on the young lady's head and a rag covering her face. Could it be that the young lady is already dead? And by this time, Aaron had already returned to the tavern. These people still did not know that the young lady had actually already been rescued. Aaron did not bother explaining much. He only told Kana to get him a beer. A week later, everyone was still talking about how the Lord had been blasted away and yet had miraculously come out without a scratch. His daughter had also returned safely enough, except for the lump on her head. In addition, because of Aaron's false testimony, Sleepyhead's death was officially recorded as a heroic sacrifice after fighting a demon. And precisely because of that, his family received a pretty substantial compensation payment. His companions all sighed. Sleepyhead really was brave and stupid. He actually dared to fight a demon by himself. What an idiot. But I guess that means his wish was fulfilled too. Rest well, Sleepyhead. Sleepyhead was seriously brave. He actually dared to face a demon head-on. I'm going to follow his example in the future too. Aaron slowly raised his cup. Come on, let's all drink to Sleepyhead together. And his sword remained here forever. Because of the way Aaron handled things, Sleepyhead at least managed to preserve a final shred of dignity. At this moment, Kel spoke up. He had heard that a new guard would come to take Sleepyhead's place, and that he should be reporting in today. The instant he finished speaking, a voice came from the doorway. Brother Aaron, where are you? I'm Dylan, the new recruit of Outer City Guard Squad 4. Aaron froze on the spot. He had never expected that the newcomer Kel mentioned would actually be this guy. He even started regretting killing Sleepyhead and wished time could somehow turn back. Dylan laughed loudly. Who would have thought Brother Aaron and I would be this fated? The two others looked at Dylan like this, and their first impression was that he did not seem too hard to get along with. Still, his mouth really was a bit annoying. Aaron accidentally said his thoughts out loud. How did trash like this even get in here? At that moment, the tavern lady slammed a beer down hard onto the table. Her face showed only two words, disgust, because they had already had a grudge before. The next second, the tavern lady turned and left, and Dylan hurried after her to apologize. The tavern lady turned back with impatience all over her face. What do you want now? But this time, Dylan's attitude was unexpectedly sincere. I'm sorry. What happened before really was my fault. I hope you can forgive me. That kind of hooligan behavior is actually an old mercenary tradition. If I didn't go along with them, everyone would exclude me. The tavern lady stared at Dylan for a moment. Then she gave a cold snort. Your name is Dylan, right? At this inn of mine, I run into garbage customers like you practically every day. But if you dare act up again, I'll put a hole straight through your head. That frightened Dylan so badly that he jerked and quickly lowered his head to apologize again. Watching the scene, even Aaron could not help but admire the tavern lady a little. This woman really was no simple person. After that, Aaron called Dylan over. Take this side sword. It's a sword left behind by my brother. From today on, you're one of Outer City Guard Squad 4. But I hope you'd better work seriously. Otherwise, you're dead. Dylan instantly looked deeply moved. I'm really too touched, big brother. I'll definitely work hard. Just like that, amid a fairly warm welcome, Dylan joined the Outer City Guard. But many years later, he would keep thinking about one thing over and over. If he had known, he should have run away immediately back then. It was just that right now, he had absolutely no idea how much he would regret this decision in the future. The scene shifted, and Aaron took Dylan to work. Aaron's job was actually very simple. To put it bluntly, it was extorting people who entered the city improperly. Dylan was completely dumbfounded watching it. Almost every person they stopped would obediently leave behind a few silver coins with them. See, that's basically how it's done. After all, there was that demon incident not long ago, so inspections have to be more thorough. Dylan was utterly shocked. Not only could they swipe silver coins from coachmen, they could even beat people up under the pretext of checking for demons. He had never imagined that guard work would suit his tastes this perfectly. This is way too perfect for me. I don't even need to learn this kind of thing. I was born knowing how. After working for most of the morning, even Aaron could not help sighing that this Dylan really was a talent, a natural extortion expert. That way, even if he did nothing at all, silver coins would roll into his pocket on their own, which counted as a good thing. But just then, Aaron sharply caught a voice with a very bad tone. What are you, exactly? You really have no sense of proportion. That man was clearly scolding Dylan. Aaron saw the Fenner family crest carved on the carriage. But Dylan still had not realized how serious the situation was. I don't care about any of that. Hand over the silver coins already. The moment he finished speaking, Aaron punched his neck crooked. "Are you really trying to die?" Aaron casually tossed Dylan aside. "Sir, that guy is a newcomer. He doesn't understand anything. Today is his first day on duty." But when Aaron looked into the carriage, he found that the people inside looked off too. Unexpectedly, there were no nobles in the carriage at all, only soldiers. He immediately changed his face. "A serious incident just happened in the city recently, and the Lord personally ordered us to strictly inspect every person passing through the city gate. Your attitude just now was equivalent to publicly slighting the authority of the Lord of Sasatic City." That man clearly had not expected Aaron to switch attitudes so quickly. Dylan, however, seemed to revive on the spot. "Didn't you hear what my boss said? Hurry up and hand over the silver coins. You witless idiot with no sense." The leader had not expected that once Aaron discovered there were no nobles in the carriage, his attitude would change so completely. With no other choice, he could only hand the silver coins to Aaron. "Please don't misunderstand. That wasn't what I meant just now." Aaron said it was fine. People always say the wrong thing sometimes. Dylan looked blank at the side, saying what had he said just now, and why could he not remember it? But after finishing that round of extortion, it still was not over. Aaron suddenly turned and punched the back of that man's head. "The Lord has specifically required us to conduct inspections like this, to confirm whether visitors have been possessed by demons. In any case, I wish you a pleasant journey." That man's face twisted with rage. This was clearly deliberate. "Those two bastards, I'll definitely make them pay. They stole my silver coins. Sooner or later I'll make them spit every last one back out." In the blink of an eye, it was already afternoon. Aaron was summoned by the church yet again. Even Aaron himself could not figure out why these church people came looking for him every few days. Because there was a demon hidden inside him. He truly did not want to come to a place like this. Could it be they've already discovered the demon inside me, so this time they want to deal with me directly? Just then, the Inquisitor of Heresy suddenly pushed open the door, startling Aaron so badly that he jumped. Fortunately, the priest behind her merely chuckled. "You finally arrived, Aaron. That really almost scared me to death just now. I never thought that just the Inquisitor of Heresy standing at the door could frighten me this much." The Inquisitor immediately said that Aaron had fought hard against the demon. She said that at the time, she had seen the whole situation very clearly. She said that Aaron had rescued the young lady from the demon's hands. Aaron's heart instantly began pounding, afraid she had already seen that he had used demonic power. "The priest called you here this time for no other reason than to reward you. I prepared a small gift for Aaron." Aaron immediately beamed. "Could it be the same as last time again?" "Oh, that's too kind. When it comes to devotion, compared with you, priest, I'm hardly worth mentioning." But no matter what, Aaron had never imagined it. This time, instead of giving him money, they put a scarf around him. "From now on, you are an honorary monk. This gift really is unexpected. It would have been better if they had just given me money like last time." But what Aaron had not expected even more was that the high priest actually had something else to ask of him. "The Inquisitor of Heresy wants to look around Sasatic City. Take her around." The moment he finished speaking, the high priest slipped away without looking back. As expected, he called me over just to dump trouble on me. One day I'm going to beat the hell out of him. Then Aaron looked again at the Inquisitor of Heresy. He did not want to take on this sort of errand in the first place, and if she discovered that he was possessed by a demon, she would probably smash his head open with one blow. At that moment, Aaron asked the Inquisitor whether she was hungry. He said there was a shop in the city he often went to. Then he directly took her to the fish head bread shop. "If I want her to stop following me on her own, this is the only move. This is the specialty of my companion's mother, fish head bread." But after only one bite, the Inquisitor's face changed instantly. Seeing that expression, Aaron nearly laughed out loud. "Don't blame me. I'm already possessed by a demon. How could I really take an Inquisitor of Heresy around everywhere?" But in the next second, Aaron could not laugh anymore. She stared fixedly at Aaron with a face twisted into utter misery. "Aren't you eating?" Aaron reflexively blurted out, "Of course I am." And so the two of them forced themselves to eat it. Aaron and the Inquisitor both practically swallowed it in one breath. Because if they slowed down even a little, that flavor would stick on the tongue and keep rising back up again and again. The two of them were almost at their limit, but in the end, they still forced themselves to finish the fish head bread. That taste was pure torture. "You win this one, Inquisitor of Heresy." But who could have imagined that the lady owner would add another sentence? "Want another one?" The Inquisitor's face changed drastically on the spot, and she directly rushed out. She probably went to find somewhere to vomit. That really was a splendid duel. But unexpectedly, that auntie turned around and placed another piece of fish head bread in front of Aaron. "Seeing how deliciously you two were eating, I was afraid it wasn't enough, so I made another one. This one's on the house." Looking at the bread before him, Aaron instantly felt that it would be better to let the Inquisitor smash his head open after all. Soon after, he turned around and went to find somewhere to throw up too. After some more time passed, his companions found Aaron more and more outrageous to look at, because the clothes on Aaron's body really were becoming more and more extravagant every single day. And Aaron had finally discovered the benefit of this outfit. Unexpectedly, as long as he wore this cloak, many shops would voluntarily give him discounts. The identity of honorary monk really was useful. The captain actually became an honorary monk. Looks like this empire really is about to end. In addition, the Fenner family has sent soldiers over. From now on they'll be acting together with us. The Lord also especially instructed us to get along well with them. If any conflict breaks out, the punishment will only be worse. The moment those words ended, someone stormed in aggressively. "You ignorant bastard from the guard, I finally caught you." Aaron said flatly, "If it's just one-sided beating, that shouldn't count as a conflict, right?" The other man demanded angrily, "You actually used such a despicable excuse to hit the back of my head." At that moment, Aaron suddenly started counting, which frightened the teammates behind him. "Captain, you're an honorary monk now. You can't make trouble over something this small." But that man kept provoking him. "What, are you scared now that it's face to face? You're nothing but a tiny guard captain. You'd better first weigh how much you're really worth." That sentence truly enraged Aaron. He skipped straight over 2 and said 3. Then with only one punch, he sent that man flying on the spot. His body rolled several times across the ground. Aaron turned and corrected his companions. "This isn't called causing conflict. This is called one-sided violence." "Isn't one-sided violence even more serious?" It's fine. I'm an honorary monk now." No one knew how long had passed before that man finally woke up. But by that time, Aaron had already dragged him to the city gate. He was shocked to the extreme. That guy really is strong. A person like that shouldn't only be a guard captain. With that level of strength, even becoming a noble's private soldier would be more than enough. So it's definitely not that I'm too weak, it's that he's absurdly strong. He started frantically making excuses for his own incompetence. And at that moment, Aaron started extorting a coachman again. The instant the man refused to cooperate, Aaron raised his hand and punched him. That soldier stared in shock. What is he doing? The captain says this is checking for demon possession, but I think he's really just extorting them. But at that moment, the person in front of Aaron suddenly changed. He actually really was a demon. A mere human dares to strike me? That shocked both men. No one had expected that trick to actually work. Even Aaron himself had not expected it. He had only done it for extortion, yet he had actually beaten a demon out into the open. Although the demon they exposed this time was only a third-rate one, the fact that another demon had appeared in Kasatic City only a week after the demon attack incident threw the whole city into chaos. And it was on that very day that Aaron personally witnessed a terrifying scene. Almost all the strongest people in Kasatic City had gathered, and every single one of them had an aura terrifyingly powerful. It even felt as though they could crush a demon to death by gaze alone. The most frightening of all was still that Inquisitor of Heresy. For a moment, Aaron almost felt a little sorry for those demons. Next time I'd better not provoke her, and definitely not treat her to fish head bread again. When Aaron returned to the inn, he found that Dylan was there too. That left Aaron extremely puzzled. Why was he here? The tavern lady said to him with impatience written all over her face, "This has nothing to do with you. Hurry to the hall and help." Then she changed into a gentle expression and said to Aaron, "Because Dylan kept coming to apologize to me, I told him that if he really felt bad, then he could come help at the inn. After all, the inn really has been getting busier and busier lately. That's also thanks to Kana's iced beer." Aaron raised the mug and took a huge gulp, chugging it down. Of course business would get better. Beer should have been drunk cold in the first place. Since she can use that kind of magic, it's a bit of a waste to use her only as a refrigerator. Even though spellbooks are expensive and hard to find. Should I help her improve a bit while I'm at it? Kana immediately felt a bad premonition. At the same time, elsewhere, 2 people were driving a carriage into the city. Just then, a heavy voice came from behind the little boy. "This broken carriage is shaking way too much. Before you 2 enter the city, you'd better not pull anything, or just wait to die." How annoying. We're only looking for someone, so did we really have to come all the way out to this backwater place? The boss is too stubborn. Once he sets his eyes on something, he absolutely won't let it go. We absolutely cannot disobey the boss's orders. All of you shut up and wipe that expression off your face. This isn't Kaler Mountain. If you cause trouble here, we won't be able to clean up after you. The boy looked toward Levi beside him. Even though we're only being threatened into giving them a ride, if they get exposed during the inspection, won't we be finished too? Levi told him not to worry. Kasatic City's inspections were only for show anyway. As long as they slipped over 1 silver coin, they would pass smoothly. So he felt that as long as they got into the city, they would be safe. Then they could hurry to send these people in and make them leave immediately. Very soon, they reached the city gate, where Dylan was already waiting. Following the old rules, they prepared to bribe their way through. Levi felt a little strange. Usually there were clearly only 2 guards, so why had there suddenly become so many today? But luckily, that hooligan captain was not here, which counted as good fortune in the midst of bad. He still followed the old routine and handed over 1 silver coin, preparing to enter the city. But at that moment, Dylan spoke. "Hold on. Aren't there 3 extra soldiers this time too? Then of course you need to hand over a little more. We have to split some with them as well." Levi instantly went speechless. What exactly was wrong with this guy? Poole told them to hurry up and go in and ignore the newcomer. Levi's heart tightened. If they were exposed here, who knew what the people in the back would do? No matter what, he had to get them smoothly into the city first. In the afternoon, Aaron heard some news. Ever since he had exposed that demon using that method, the sheriff had directly changed all inspection procedures with a single order. From now on, even the people sitting in the carriage had to get down and be checked one by one. So Dylan made everyone get out of the carriage, then suddenly pulled out a wooden club from his hand. He raised it and smashed it hard onto one of them. Levi was stunned on the spot. Why had he suddenly attacked for no reason? And as expected, that scene completely enraged the other side. The person opposite immediately tried to rush up and teach him a lesson. But Dylan did not panic at all. This is my boss's territory. He directly shouted at the top of his lungs, there's a demon here. These people are all demons. The moment those words fell, a flying sword instantly sliced through the air, and the next second, it pierced straight through that person's heart. Only then did Levi suddenly realize that those people from just now were all no longer on the carriage. We successfully subdued the suspicious individuals. Great. They're not dead yet. They just fainted for the moment. At the same time, Aaron also said that he should head over. The city gate was probably already in total chaos, so he told Kel to go over first and help. As for Aaron himself, he planned to take the little fridge and upgrade her into a big fridge. But Aaron did not know that there was also a second group watching Kana. Aaron told Kana to come over to his side, but Kana was clearly a little afraid of him. Aaron forced out what he thought was a gentle smile. Little fridge, come over here a second. Kana jumped in fright, then slowly walked over. My name is Kana. Please don't call me Little Fridge. Aaron raised his hand and rubbed Kanan's little head, asking what magic she knew now. She said she knew magic dice, chilling drinks, and simple clairvoyance. That left Aaron speechless. Had Connor learned magic from some gambling addict or something? At that moment, Kana suddenly spoke. I learn things very fast, and I work well too. The tavern lady even praised me for washing dishes very cleanly. Aaron was still wondering why this little thing had suddenly become so emotional. When he then heard her say, don't throw me away, Aaron told her to stop overthinking it. Why would I throw you away? Anyway, you do want to seriously learn magic well, right? She immediately said, yes, just wait and see. I learn things very fast. I'm a magic genius. Those words suddenly made Aaron think of someone. You're asking me how I learned magic? Why are you suddenly asking that? Aaron, you're too dumb. You'd never learn it. Anyway, I just want to learn, and I'm a little smarter than other people. No, I'm a genius. Connor's acting way too strange. Why does it feel like Dylan corrupted her? Connor said there was one more thing she had not told Aaron. But just then, someone suddenly burst in through the door. That frightened Connor badly. The one who came was Dylan. This is bad, boss. That group we captured all escaped from prison. I heard that one of the people caught during the inspection actually bit through his wooden shackles and escaped. He even beat down armed soldiers without having any weapon himself. I'm the one who knocked him out and caught him earlier. This is bad. He's not going to come back for revenge on me, is he? What would happen to him had nothing to do with Aaron. In any case, the unlucky one was not him. Anyway, let's go gather at headquarters first. Aaron told the tavern lady to lock the door, and watch the ice machine too. If someone knocks, use simple clairvoyance first to see who it is before opening. After saying that, he grabbed Dylan by the ear and left with him. 10 minutes later, at headquarters. Their superior cursed at them furiously. You useless bunch actually let those prisoners escape. At that moment, a colleague beside them muttered quietly, that's why I said wooden shackles should be replaced with iron ones. But their superior said, iron shackles are expensive. They'd rather break out of prison than stay put. Looks like that rough method really was effective. All they had to do was stay obediently where they were. Doesn't that just prove they've got guilty consciences? I heard that guy is from Carson. Over there, he's famous for being a dangerous figure. Only then did Aaron become a little curious about how Dylan had managed to catch someone that vicious. No wonder he had been that scared earlier. Just then, a foot stepped forward. Everyone, please wait a moment. Who is the captain of the guard here? That fierce-looking big guy. Are you the captain here? Aaron froze on the spot. He said I'm a fierce-looking big guy? Aaron grabbed him by the head. You little brat, why are you so rude? My master didn't do anything wrong. Please save my master. Who is your master? I don't know him at all. A colleague beside him said. I heard Levi was the one who brought in that fixer from Kaler Mountain. Aaron, you should know him, right? He's that coachman who occasionally comes here to do business. I heard they were threatened last time too. Aaron suddenly remembered. You mean that stingy Levi, right? Kid, I do sympathize with you, but once a prisoner escapes, even if I know him, I still can't let him off. Meanwhile, Levi was running away together with that group. They planned to stop first and catch their breath. These guards were just too troublesome. But why did you drag me out with you too? I never even wanted to escape prison. The other two were panicking badly too. Those guards had actually attacked directly during the inspection. But just then, the guards behind them blew their whistles again. The moment they heard the whistles, the group instantly panicked and scattered in all directions. But Levi sensed that something was wrong. This was clearly being done on purpose to drive them in the same direction. And at that moment, Aaron was standing right in front of them, all alone. The moment those two saw there was only one person, they instantly switched into fighting mode. Rush him directly. The words had barely fallen when one of them was grabbed by the throat by Aaron and slammed heavily onto the ground. That scene left everyone else stunned. Cold sweat streamed down Levi's back even more. Could this guy really be that Aaron people called a hooligan? This was bad. Another man behind them swung a wooden club and charged forward, but Aaron blocked that club barehanded. By this point, Levi was already trembling all over, because he knew all too well how terrifying Aaron was, ignoring rules, casually enforcing the law with violence. All of that was everyday behavior for him. And now Levi happened to be an escaped prisoner running into a fiend like this. His luck could not have been worse. Levi collapsed to the ground in fright. Please don't come any closer. You really will beat me to death. Aaron grabbed him and hauled him up. What are you screaming for? And why the hell are you escaping prison for no reason? What a pain. Your apprentice is right behind you. Hurry up and go find him. Only then did Levi see that his apprentice was standing behind him, holding an umbrella and looking at him. He shouted on the spot, "Fleece." In the next second, he rushed over and hugged him. Captain Aaron of the guard might usually be rough, foul-mouthed, and occasionally quick to use his fists, looking exactly like a thug, but maybe a person really cannot be judged just by appearances. At that moment, Aaron asked a colleague whether they had found out which direction that fixer had gone. He heard that the man seemed to have headed toward District 5, and Aaron immediately felt that something was wrong. District 5, wasn't that where the inn was? Meanwhile, that fixer had already reached the inn. The next second, his expression changed sharply. He immediately turned and blocked an attack, but his body was still sent flying backward by force. Dylan pointed at the hat-wearing man ahead and shouted, "That's him. Hurry up and take him down." And that person was none other than Scar. Any criminal who hasn't gotten my permission is forbidden from running around this district. I am the shadow of Kasatic City, Scar. As soon as he finished speaking, he launched an attack on the other man. But in the next instant, that man strangely appeared behind Scar and cut him with one sword strike. It was obvious that Scar's strength was nowhere near enough against him. That scene left the two people nearby stunned as well. This guy is way too strong. If the boss doesn't come, we definitely can't beat him. The fixer coldly said, "I'm looking for a little girl. Have you seen a small girl with purple hair?" At the same time, Aaron's teammate Poole had already engaged him in combat. Poole threw a punch, and the fixer actually spun once in midair. But after that spin, he still landed a solid hit on Poole. Seeing that things were going badly, Poole immediately told Dylan to run. "Go get the boss. Right now only the boss can deal with him." Dylan turned and started sprinting. Even with three people fighting together, they could not beat that man. This time, things were truly hopeless. "Brother Poole, I'm really sorry. Even though you've always treated a low-class mercenary like me as if I were your own little brother, this time I absolutely can't listen to you, because you can't die." So just as that fixer was about to deliver the killing blow to Poole, Dylan suddenly shouted from behind him, "Did you forget? You were the one I beat until your teeth hit the ground. Your little brother turned into a human skewer, you idiot." It had to be said, that move was truly vicious. The other man was instantly enraged, and with one turn, he flashed behind Dylan and stabbed out with his sword. Dylan instantly rolled across the ground. Inside his head, he cursed furiously. "Damn it, where the hell did that bastard boss go? My life really is rotten beyond belief. But as long as I'm still alive, maybe I can still find at least one thing worth living for." At that moment, the fixer was already preparing to deliver the final strike to Dylan. Just as the tip of the sword was about to pierce Dylan's head, Dylan suddenly shouted, "Aaron, you bastard, why do you disappear exactly at times like this?" A few drops of rain happened to fall right then. In the next second, an iron-hard head slammed viciously into the fixer's face. The terrifying impact sent the whole man flying backward. "Didn't expect your life to be that tough." Dylan was almost in tears. "Boss, your timing is perfect. You really are my true big brother." But Aaron stared at him with a murderous look. "Did you just curse me? I think I heard someone say, 'Aaron, you bastard.'" Dylan instantly froze stiff. He could only lie down on the ground and play dead. "I didn't expect boss's ears to be that sharp. You brat actually dare pretend to be unconscious in front of me." But clearly, now was not the time to deal with Dylan. The fixer brushed the dust off his body. That hit just now had actually not done much damage to him. Aaron let out a cold laugh. "So you're the loser who got completely wrecked by my underling? Even if you got beaten, you didn't have to end up this pathetic, right? Why is the other side of you covered in wood splinters too?" The instant he turned around, Aaron struck without warning. Even the fixer was speechless. "You're obviously this strong, and you still use such despicable methods. Thanks, I'll take that as praise. But you're way too naive, old bald guy." The next second, Aaron kicked him in the lower abdomen, then grabbed him by the collar, and slammed him back and forth on the ground like he was lifting a chick. Still, this fixer really could take a beating. How could someone at your level get knocked out by Dylan? I really can't figure it out. "And what exactly are you doing coming to a backwater place like this?" The fixer said he was looking for someone, then asked Aaron in return whether he had seen a very short little girl with purple hair. Aaron instantly understood. There was a 90% chance he was talking about Kana. Aaron remembered that the people who used to control Kana had also seemed to come from Kaler Mountain. So maybe they had always been part of the same group. To actually send a fixer all the way here just for an unremarkable little mage, Aaron did not know who gave the order, but that person had to be unbelievably stingy. The fixer's face twisted with anger. So you really do know where she is. Take me to her obediently, and I won't pursue your offense any further. But the moment he finished speaking, a sharp pain suddenly shot through his chest. He looked down and saw that Dylan had actually run a sword straight through his body. You bastard, how dare you set your sights on the purple-haired little girl? You're tired of living. No matter how he thought about it, that fixer had never imagined he would die here, and at the hands of the same person again. He had only just begun to say he would kill Dylan, but his body was already collapsing weakly to the ground. That move from Dylan really was vicious, just like him. At the same time, Aaron only felt a wave of exhaustion. I haven't slept well all day. I really want a beer to wet my throat, and this rain really is falling hard. Very soon, it was already the next day. Dylan was proudly boasting about last night's battle. A bald idiot like that was no match for me and boss. The moment Brother Aaron entered the battlefield, I immediately stabbed that guy straight through the chest, and the blood just came pouring out, and then I stabbed him again, and more blood just kept pouring out. At that moment, Aaron had also come to see Pool. He had even specially brought a gift of consolation, their favorite fish head bread. Dylan's face changed in horror. You actually brought murderous bread. At that moment, the bandaged man beside them said, Did you buy 3? But I have to fast, so I can't eat. The atmosphere instantly became awkward. Pool then said, Captain, looks like now you'll have to eat one yourself too. Meanwhile, the inn was just as lively. Fleece walked up to Kana. Miss, you are truly beautiful. But the moment Kana saw Aaron return, she immediately ran over to his side. She brought Aaron a mug of beer, and just right, Aaron really did need something satisfying right now. Aaron asked her whether she had any ambitions. For example, what she wanted to become in the future, or what she wanted to do, like becoming a knight, or a noble lady, and so on. But Kana said that all she wanted was to survive. That sentence truly surprised Aaron. But he knew Kana was not joking, so he only said one thing. Alright, I'll work hard. So you have to work hard too. After saying that, Aaron went to chat with the tavern lady. Kana stood there in a daze, clearly not understanding what Aaron meant by work hard. And at that moment, Kana remembered something Dylan had said to her before. If a boy says to you, Miss, would you like to go have a glass of juice with me? Then you should smash the back of his head as hard as you can.